Chapter 884. Luo Dongqing said with a dumbfounded expression, "What else can I do?" Qin Haodong said helplessly, "You're so stubborn. It's good enough that she's not annoyed to death by you. How could she let you in?" Luo Dongqing quickly said modestly, "Little Qin, can you teach me what I should do? Cater to what she likes, not be shameless." Qin Haodong asked, "You even have a granddaughter. Don't you know what your wife likes?" Luo Dongqing scratched his head and said, "She hates me drinking the most. It's hard to say what she likes." Qin Haodong said angrily, "If I were a woman, I wouldn't let a man like you sleep with me." "Oh. I remember. She likes singing and listening to songs." Qin Haodong said, "That's right. Since she likes listening to songs, then let her listen to them." Luo Dongqing said, "But I can't sing at all. I can't let the students who are good at singing sing for her often, can I? I have something good here. Take it." Qin Haodong said as he took out an MP3 player from the storage ring. This was a gift from Ouyang Shanshan. It recorded every song of Ouyang Shanshan. Originally, he had made a dozen copies and wanted to give one to each of his family. However, he came to the Lingwu continent before he could distribute them. Now he took out one and gave it to Luo Dongqing and taught him how to use it. Luo Dongqing cried excitedly, "Little Qin, where did you get it? It's really a divine artifact. There's someone singing in it, and she sings so well. My wife will love it very much. You can give it to her. She won't let you go home and sleep with her, but at least she'll leave a good impression on you." Luo Dongqing nodded repeatedly. He seemed to have seen his wife open the door of their home for him. Qin Haodong said, "And you have to change the way you call her. You can't always call her old woman." Luo Dongqing asked in surprise, "You're so old. What else can I call her if not old woman?" Qin Haodong said, "Call her darling. If you can't, call her wife. Anyway, you can't call her that old. Women care about age the most. You have to remember that she will always be young in your heart." "Oh. Oh." Luo Dongqing nodded. Qin Haodong added, "And you have to change your image. You can't always be so sloppy. Especially that wine gourd on your back. Are you afraid that others won't know that you are a drunkard? Why do you always carry it on your back? Even if you want to drink it, you have to put it in your storage ring." "Got it. I'll put it away right away." Luo Dongqing obediently put his iconic wine gourd into his storage ring. Qin Haodong looked at him again and said, "Your image is not good. You have to change it, or you will look too old-fashioned." Luo Dongqing said reluctantly, "Little Qin, is it really necessary?" "Of course, unless you don't want to go home again." "Change, I have to change." Luo Dongqing said immediately. "What image do you think I should change into?" "You don't have to worry about it. Just do as I say." Qin Haodong said as he took out a pair of scissors and quickly cut Luo Dongqing's messy hair into a crew cut. When he was in Jiangnan University, several of his roommates were not very well off. In order to save money on haircuts, they bought a pair of scissors and cut each other's hair. Therefore, Qin Haodong's haircutting skills were quite good. After that, he shaved Luo Dongqing's beard with a knife. "Not bad. You look much younger." Qin Haodong thought of something and took out an Armani suit, a white shirt and a pair of black leather shoes from his storage ring. He threw them to Luo Dongqing and said, "Change into these clothes." When he came here, he ransacked the warehouse of the entire alien demon. The high-level alien demons were used to transforming into human forms, so they naturally prepared a lot of human clothes. In order to adapt to this continent, it was not suitable for him to wear this kind of clothes, but he didn't mind giving it to the deputy dean of the Black Tortoise Academy. Luo Dongqing looked at it and said, "Can I wear these clothes?" "Why not? Try it on and you'll know." Qin Haodong said as he took off Luo Dongqing's shabby robe, stained with the smell of alcohol. Then he helped him put on the shirt, suit and the pair of black leather shoes. Clothes make the man, and the Buddha makes the gold. The originally sloppy old man immediately became much more spirited after this tidying up. No wonder the female teacher fell in love with him. It turned out that this old man was also quite handsome. Luo Dongqing stood in front of the bronze mirror and looked at himself. He felt that the person in the mirror was completely different. He asked with some uncertainty, "Little Qin, will this work?" Qin Haodong patted him on the shoulder and said, "Trust me. It will definitely work." Then he took out a large bouquet of roses from his storage ring and stuffed it into Luo Dongqing's hand. "Take this. Send flowers and gifts first. Don't take the initiative to mention going home. When the time comes, your wife will naturally invite you back." Luo Dongqing asked, "Your divine artifact is really good, but what's the use of these flowers? They can't be eaten or drunk. Will she like it?" Qin Haodong looked at him with disdain. "I don't know how a rude man like you got a wife. Just do as I say." Okay. I got it." At this time, Luo Dongqing did not dare to disobey Qin Haodong at all. He nodded repeatedly. "Go ahead. I'll wait for your good news later." They left the office together. Luo Dongqing went to find his wife with flowers nervously. Qin Haodong returned to his dormitory. After returning, he went directly to the alchemy room, took out the elixirs he had bought, and began to make elixirs again. The two elixirs he was making this time were a little different. One was called the Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, and the other was called the Small Yuan Explosion Elixir. The Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, as the name suggested, could burn one's own essence and improve one's cultivation instantly. The Small Yuan Explosion Elixir could improve one's cultivation by a small level. He was now at the middle stage of the void training stage. If he took the Small Yuan Explosion Elixir, he could instantly reach the late stage of the void training stage. The effect of the Big Yuan Explosion Elixir was even more obvious. If he took a Big Yuan Explosion Elixir, his cultivation would instantly reach the middle stage of the body integration stage, and he would be able to kill opponents at a higher level. Of course, there was a price to pay. Depending on the situation, there would be a period of weakness after using it. Even so, this kind of elixir was extremely difficult to make. It belonged to the category of 6th grade elixirs. Although he had the intention before, he did not have the ability to make it. About 2 hours later, the rich fragrance of elixirs filled the alchemy room. 9 black Big Yuan Explosion Elixirs and 9 red Small Yuan Explosion Elixirs lay quietly in the jade bottle in his hand. Qin Haodong was not going to sell these 2 elixirs. Instead, he kept them in his storage ring in case he needed them. As soon as he finished making elixirs, the door opened. The little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue came in from outside. Qin Haodong looked at the time. It was just noon. He asked, "Why are you back so early?" The little she-devil said, "It's lunchtime. Of course I have to come back to eat the delicious food you made. What else do you want me to eat? I can't eat the food in the cafeteria at all." Qin Haodong was speechless. It seemed that he had been blackmailed by this little girl. Did she not want to eat without him? Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, here's the thing. The teacher of our class said that this afternoon will be the first class meeting since the beginning of the school. Everyone has to be present whether they are in class or not. We came back to inform you." Qin Haodong nodded. It seemed that he had to go. Otherwise, he would not know who was in his class in the future. Qin Haodong made a sumptuous lunch for the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue. After eating, Qin Haodong took them to the classroom. This time, the Black Tortoise Academy recruited a total of 1,000 new students. They were divided into 10 classes, with 100 students in each class. Zhao Xingyue had been here for 2 days. Needless to say, the little she-devil had been in the Black Tortoise Academy for 4 years. She was very familiar with the place. The two of them took Qin Haodong's arm and walked into the classroom together. In the past 2 days, everyone had become familiar with each other. Although no one dared to provoke the little she-devil, Zhao Xingyue had become a goddess in the eyes of all the male students because of her good looks, good cultivation, and good character. Many of them had a crush on her. At this moment, they saw their goddess holding a man's arm and walking in with a friendly expression. Countless male students covered their hearts. The scene was so heartbreaking that their goddess had been taken away. Qin Haodong ignored these people and walked to the teacher on the podium. The teacher of their class was called Melinda. She was a middle-aged woman who looked quite beautiful. She was one of the most outstanding teachers in the entire academy. Qin Haodong had learned the teacher's name from the little she-devil. He stepped forward and said, "Hello, Ms. Melinda. I'm Qin Haodong. Reporting for duty." Like the teachers on Earth, they were particularly fond of outstanding students. Melinda had long heard that the king of this year's enrollment was in her class. Unfortunately, she had not seen him in the past 2 days. Good. Good. Melinda was very satisfied with Qin Haodong. She took him to stand on the podium and said to the students under the stage, "Everyone, I'd like to introduce Qin Haodong, the king of this year's students. He is also the most outstanding one in our class. I've decided that from today on, Qin Haodong will be the chief senior of our class. When I'm not here in the future, he will decide the affairs of the class." After she said this, there was a sudden uproar under the stage. No wonder other classes had chosen the chief senior these days, but only their class was empty. It turned out that it was reserved for this person. After Melinda announced the decision, the female students, led by the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue, began to applaud warmly. Everyone was full of affection for this handsome king of newcomers. However, most of the male students were extremely unconvinced. This guy had not come to class for 2 days. How could he sit in the position of the chief senior as soon as he came? The most important thing was that the 2 most beautiful girls in the class seemed to be full of affection for him. If they let him become the chief senior, how could they pursue the goddess in their hearts in the future? For this reason, as soon as Melinda's voice fell, a tall male student stood up and said, "Teacher, I'm not convinced by your decision." Melinda frowned and looked down the stage. This male student was called Xiao Huapeng. He was born in a big family in the Xuanwu kingdom and his cultivation was not weak. Seeing that some students had put forward different opinions, she said, "Qin Haodong's cultivation has reached the late stage of soul transformation. He is recognized as the king of newcomers among our freshmen. What are you not convinced about?" Xiao Huapeng said, "Teacher Mei, I hid my cultivation during the entrance test, but now I can't keep a low profile anymore. To tell you the truth, I have also reached the late stage of soul transformation. I'm no worse than this person." As he spoke, he ran the genuine qi in his body and instantly burst out a powerful momentum. It was the late stage of soul transformation. Chapter 886. Many people realized this. To become a 6th grade alchemist, one had to be at least at the void training stage, and Qin Haodong was the only one in their class who had reached this level. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Qin Haodong. Could it be that the 6th grade alchemist Fang Qiong mentioned was really him? Mei Lin asked curiously, "Fang Qiong, which student in our class is this 6th grade alchemist's medal for?" "Of course it's for my senior brother. He's the only one in the entire Black Tortoise Academy." Fang Qiong walked up to Qin Haodong, tidied up his clothes, took out a shining medal, and put it on his chest. Her movements were gentle and serious, as if she was serving her husband's wife. Everyone was stunned. They were shocked that Qin Haodong had won a 6th grade alchemist medal as soon as he entered the academy. At the same time, they were shocked by Fang Qiong's performance. She had been in the academy for so many years, and it was best to describe her as aloof. This goddess had never spoken to men, but her performance today had surprised everyone. "Senior brother, come to the Alchemist Union to see me when you have time." After that, Fang Qiong gave Qin Haodong another sweet smile, and then turned around and left the classroom. At this moment, the huge classroom was silent, but everyone's heart was in turmoil. This young man hadn't come to class for 2 days, and as soon as he appeared, he made them feel waves of shock, each stronger than the last. The little she-devil said proudly, "You've all seen it, my little brother is the best. And you, ugly guy, didn't you want to compete with my little brother as an alchemist? Are you going to compete or not?" Zhuo Tianxiong was frustrated. What was there to compete with? Qin Haodong was a 6th-grade alchemist, and his 3rd-grade alchemist was nothing compared to him. Although it seemed that he was only half as good as Qin Haodong, the higher the level, the more difficult it was for an alchemist to advance. Not only did he have to have a good cultivation, but he also had to have excellent alchemy skills. Therefore, it was very difficult for him to advance to the next level. It was estimated that he would never be able to touch the threshold of a 6th-grade alchemist in his life. What made him even more depressed was the title of Little She-Devil. What did she mean by ugly guy? Was he ugly? He was just not as handsome as that pretty boy. If there was no comparison, there would be no harm. Previously, he was filled with pride because of his identity as an alchemist, but now, his pride had been trampled to pieces. Helpless, Zhuo Tianxiong could only lower his head and sneak into the crowd, not daring to say another word. Seeing him like this, the little she-devil was even more pleased with herself, as if she was the one who had won. She held her head high and puffed out her chest, looking like a proud empress as she scanned the surrounding students. If there's anyone else who doesn't accept my little brother, feel free to step forward. I'm not convinced. I want to compete with him in medical skills. As she spoke, a delicate-looking young man stepped forward and looked at the little she-devil with sparkling eyes. His name was Yunxiang. In the class, most people regarded Zhao Xingyue as their goddess, but he was an exception. He liked the little witch, Luo Hongying. The little she-devil glanced at him disdainfully. You? What's there to compete with a lousy medical skill? Yunxiang said, although we cultivators rarely get sick, it's common for us to get injured. We doctors are everywhere. So I think doctors are the most helpful to our class. As the chief senior of the class, I must have superb medical skills. The little she-devil said, even if it's a medical skill competition, you're no match for my little brother. The girl now had a kind of blind worship for Qin Haodong, thinking that he was omnipotent. Yunxiang said, Luo Hongying, how about we make a bet? Of course, the little she-devil would not be convinced. She said with her hands on her hips, let's bet. Do you think my little brother is afraid of you? What do you want to bet? Yunxiang said, I'll compete with Qin Haodong in medical skills. If I win, you'll be my girlfriend. How about that? I can't be your girlfriend. You're too ugly. You're not even half as handsome as my little brother. As the saying goes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Yunxiang was actually a standard handsome man, but in Luo Hongying's eyes, he could not be compared with Qin Haodong. Seeing his sweetheart fall in love with another man, he naturally felt uncomfortable. He gritted his teeth and said, Are you afraid? If you're afraid, just let him admit defeat. What's there to be afraid of? What's there to be afraid of? Yunxiang only used a little bit of provocation, and the little she-devil jumped up. She would not allow anyone to look down on her little brother. I'll compete with you in medical skills. If I lose, I'll be your girlfriend. But dream on. My little brother will never lose. Qin Haodong stood aside and was speechless. He hadn't said a word, but the girl had actually put him in. What was going on? Yunxiang had studied medical skills for many years, and he thought that his medical skills were unparalleled among the students. The little she-devil agreed and immediately said with a smile, Luo Hongying, that's what you said. Don't regret it. I, the little she-devil, always keep my words. How can I regret it? But what do you have to bet with me? Well, Yunxiang said, I don't have any money. How about this? If I lose, I'll sell myself to you as your servant. I'll do anything you want me to do. The little she-devil curled her lips and said, You're not worth anything at all. I'll just suffer some losses. She turned around and said, Little brother, it's your turn. Win him and make him my servant. Seeing that Qin Haodong was silent, Yun Xiang said, Qin, you're not afraid, are you? Do you dare to compete with me in medical skills? The little she-devil cried, little brother, show him what you're made of. Qin Haodong patted her head helplessly and said to Yun Xiang, you're not qualified to compete with me in medical skills. I'm not qualified? I think you're afraid. Yun Xiang sneered and said, I've been learning medical skills from a mutant since I was 5 years old. Now I've reached the small realm. I don't dare to say anything else, but I'm more than enough to beat you. Really? Qin Haodong smiled perfectly and said, then I'll test you. What are the 8 extraordinary meridians? Yun Xiang's face changed. Qin, are you insulting me? Every doctor knows such a basic question. Qin Haodong said calmly, then tell me about it. Then I'll tell you. Let's see what new tricks you can play. Yun Xiang said, the 8 extraordinary meridians refer to the Ren meridian, Du meridian, Chong meridian, Dai meridian, Yin linking meridian, Yang linking meridian, Yin heel meridian, and Yang heel meridian. Compared with the 12 regular meridians of the human body, these meridians have a special way, so they are called the 8 extraordinary meridians. The 8 extraordinary meridians are the foundation of a warrior. Qin Haodong sneered and said, you also know that it's the foundation of a warrior, but you only have half of the Yin linking meridian. You can't even cure your own disease. How dare you stand here and compete with me in medical skills? Isn't that a joke? Yun Xiang was shocked and said, how did you know? Qin Haodong said, as a doctor, how can I not see such an obvious disease? Your disease should be a congenital defect. It's hereditary and has been passed down from generation to generation in your family. This kind of disease has no disadvantages at the beginning of a warrior's cultivation. On the contrary, it will speed up your cultivation. But as your cultivation increases, the disadvantages of missing half of the Yin linking meridian will begin to show. You've just reached the early stage of the divine transformation realm, so you will feel a sharp pain in your chest from time to time. When you reach the void training realm, especially the middle stage, you will start to vomit blood. Not to mention improving your cultivation, it will be extremely difficult for you to survive. Hearing what he said, everyone else was shocked. It was the first time they had heard of a congenital missing half of the Yin linking meridian. Are you serious? He's not talking nonsense, is he? He didn't even feel her pulse. How could he say it so clearly? In addition to his martial arts cultivation and alchemy skills, his medical skills are also so outstanding? That's impossible. How can a person have so much energy? I think he can't compare with his medical skills, so he made up such a lie. People around were talking about it, but Yun Xiang was in a daze. After a while, he suddenly woke up and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. Dr. Qin, please forgive me for my ignorance. Please save my sister. What was going on? Was Yun Xiang crazy? Wasn't he going to compete with that guy in medical skills? Why did he suddenly kneel down? Everyone was baffled, including Miss Melinda, who was next to her. Originally, she wanted to see the competition between the students, but she didn't expect this result. Qin Haodong didn't use a single move. He only used a few words to make Yun Xiang kneel down and admit defeat. The little witch cried, Yun Xiang, didn't you want to compete with my little brother in medical skills? Why did you kneel down? Are you going to compete or not? Yun Xiang cried, no. My medical skills are not as good as Dr. Qin's at all. I'm willing to be your servant, but please save my sister first. Qin Haodong had already guessed what was going on. He said, if I'm not wrong, your sister has reached the middle stage of the void training realm, right? Dr. Qin, you're amazing. You're right. My sister has been known as a martial arts genius since she was a child. Her cultivation grew very fast and she reached the middle stage of the practice realm a year ago. But since then, not only has she not been able to improve, but she often vomits blood. Now her condition is getting worse and worse, and she can't get out of bed. Please, Dr. Qin, only you can save her now. Seeing Yun Xiang's excited expression, Qin Haodong and the people present were moved by her deep love for her brother. Zhao Xingyue couldn't help saying, "Brother Qin, we're all classmates. Please help him." Qin Haodong said, "Well, I'll go and have a look at your sister after class." "Thank you, Dr. Qin." Only then did Yunxiang stand up from the ground. Mei Lin said to the crowd, "Now I announce that Qin Haodong is the head senior of our class. Does anyone have any objections?" The audience suddenly fell silent. He had just reached the void training realm at the age of 21. He had passed the assessment of a 6th-grade alchemist within 2 days of entering the school. His medical skills had also reached an incredible level. In the face of such a genius, who could have any objections? Who dared to have any objections? Even if they wanted to object, they had to have the ability. In this way, Qin Haodong became the head senior of the class under the pressure of his tyrannical strength. After the class meeting, Qin Haodong and Yunxiang hurriedly left the classroom and walked towards the dormitory area of the college. The little witch and Zhao Xingyue returned to the dormitory. As they walked, Qin Haodong asked, "You didn't just discover this congenital defect of your family, did you? Why do you still practice martial arts?" Yunxiang sighed and said, "Our family was poor since childhood. If we don't practice martial arts in the Lingwu continent, there is no way out at all. So even though we knew that we were congenital defects, my sister and I still embarked on the road of cultivation without hesitation. In order to cure my family's disease, I studied medicine since I was a child. Unfortunately, after so many years of study, I still can't cure my own disease." Chapter 887. Qin Haodong was not surprised by this. The only way to cure a unique disease like the lack of yin linking meridian was to reconstruct the meridians with the rejuvenative acupuncture and use medicine. Qin Haodong was the only one in the world who could perform the rejuvenative acupuncture. Yunxiang asked worriedly, "Dr. Qin, are you sure you can cure my sister's disease?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "If your sister has no other diseases, I should be able to." "That's great. Thank you, Dr. Qin. My parents died when I was a child. My sister raised me. We depended on each other since we were young. As long as you can cure my sister, my life will be yours in the future." Qin Haodong said, "Your cultivation is not as good as mine, your medical skills are not as good as mine, and your alchemy skills are not as good as mine. You are not as handsome as me. What's the use of your life?" "Well, Dr. Qin, if your fee is too high, we really don't have that much money. But you can owe me now, and I'll pay you back later." Yunxiang was speechless for a moment. As he said, Qin Haodong did not need him at all, but he and his sister were too poor and could not afford much money at all. "Keep your life with your sister. We'll talk about money later." Qin Haodong was willing to sacrifice his life for his sister. Although he did not seem to have changed on the surface, he still had a very good impression of him. "Brother Qin, thank you." Yunxiang was moved. He suddenly said, "Brother Qin, why don't I help you pursue my sister?" "Well, when did I say that I wanted to pursue your sister?" Qin Haodong was speechless. Yunxiang said excitedly, "Brother Qin, you are a good man, and my sister is a good match. You don't know that my sister is one of the most beautiful goddesses in our school. Countless people have pursued her these years, but my sister has not liked any of them. Even Shui Pan, the 4th master in our school, is also a pursuer of my sister, but my sister did not like him." "Who is your sister?" Qin Haodong asked in surprise. "My sister is Enchanting. Before she got sick, she ranked 7th among the top 10 masters in our school. She is no less beautiful than Feng Qiong'er. Most importantly, my sister is not as cold as she is." "Oh." Qin Haodong nodded. He didn't expect Yunxiang's sister to be the famous Yun Chanqian. As they spoke, the two of them arrived in front of a dormitory. Yunxiang opened the door and walked in. "Sister, I'm here to see you." Yunxiang opened the bedroom door and let Qin Haodong in. On the large bed in the middle of the room lay a beautiful woman. This woman looked like Lin Daiyu from the Dream of the Red Chamber. Her beauty was tinged with a sickly gentleness, making people feel endless pity for her. Little brother, isn't it time for class? Why are you here? Yun Shanxian's voice was very weak. She did not sound like a void refinement cultivator at all. While speaking, she saw Qin Haodong standing in the room and asked, "Little brother, who is this junior brother?" Yun Xiang walked to the bed and helped Yun Shanxian sit up. "Sister, this is our classmate, Dr. Qin Haodong. He said he can cure you." "How is this possible?" Yun Shanxian glanced at Qin Haodong and saw no hope at all. He was too young. In her opinion, this person must be one of her admirers, trying to get close to her in this way. "Little brother, thank him for me, and then you can go. He can't cure my disease." Seeing that Yun Shanxian did not believe Qin Haodong, Yun Xiang hurriedly said, "Sister, although brother Qin is young, his medical skills are excellent, and he is a 6th-grade alchemist." Hearing that Qin Haodong was a 6th-grade alchemist, Yun Shanxian was shocked. As one of the top 10 experts in the school, it was impossible for her not to know what a 6th-grade alchemist meant. Before this, Fang Qiong'er was the highest-level alchemist among the students, but she was only a 5th-grade alchemist. How could this young man who had just arrived be a 6th-grade alchemist? "Little brother, have you been fooled? It's not that easy to become a 6th-grade alchemist." Seeing that his sister did not believe him, Yun Xiang hurriedly said, "Sister, I saw it with my own eyes. Senior sister Fang Qiong'er just gave brother Qin a medal. She even called brother Qin Haodong senior brother." After saying that, he was still worried that his sister would not believe him, so he raised his hand and pointed at Qin Haodong's chest. "Look, this is the 6th-grade alchemist medal." Yun Shanxian stepped forward and saw the medal clearly. Her cold expression changed to one of sincerity. "Dr. Qin, please save my brother. As long as you can cure him, I, Yun Shanxian, will do anything for you." Qin Haodong sighed with emotion. From the brother and sister, he really saw what was called deep affection. Everyone was always thinking about each other. This kind of sincere affection was rare. "Let me take your pulse first. Your condition is more serious." Qin Haodong came to the bedside, took Yun Shanxian's hand, and put his hand on her pulse. Yun Shanxian looked at the young man in front of her nervously. As long as her disease could be cured, her brother could be saved. After a while, Qin Haodong withdrew his right hand. "It's okay. Although your condition is a little serious, it can be cured." Hearing that their disease could be cured, the siblings burst into tears of joy. For so many years, they had lived in fear of death, constantly worried that they would lose the most precious person in their lives. Yun Xiang said excitedly, "Dr. Qin, when can you treat my sister?" Qin Haodong said, "Miss Yun needs some help from a woman. Take her to my dormitory, and I will go to the Alchemist Union to buy some herbs. I will treat your sister later." Yun Xiang said, "Brother Qin, I can buy the herbs and run errands. My sister is very sick now, and I am afraid that I can't take good care of her. You are a doctor, and you are better at it." He had his own thoughts. With Qin Haodong's excellence, if he could really become his brother-in-law, it would indeed be a great blessing, and also a good thing for his sister. So from now on, he would create opportunities for the two of them. Qin Haodong asked in confusion, "Aren't you also a doctor? How can I compare with you?" "Otherwise, my sister would have been cured a long time ago," Yun Xiang said. "Brother Qin, tell me what medicine you want to buy, and I will go now." Seeing that he insisted, Qin Haodong didn't say much. He picked up a pen and paper, wrote a prescription, and handed it to Yun Xiang. "These herbs may be a little expensive. Take the money first, and pay me back when you have money." Then he took out 100 best-grade spirit stones and gave them to Yun Xiang. "I know, brother-in-law, no, brother Qin." Yun Xiang saw the hope of curing his sister, so he ran out with a smile. Yun Shanxian was originally a pretty girl from a humble family. When she heard the word brother-in-law from her brother, her cheeks suddenly turned red, as if she was drunk, and she didn't even dare to look up at Qin Haodong. Qin Haodong didn't take this kind of joke seriously at all. He said to Yun Xianxian, "Let's go." Yun Xianxian nodded and struggled to get out of bed. But she had been seriously ill recently, and she kept vomiting blood. Her body was too weak, and after a few steps, she felt dizzy and fell to the side. Fortunately, Qin Haodong stayed by her side and reached out to hold her. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." With Qin Haodong's support, Yun Xianxian gritted her teeth and continued to walk forward. Apart from her brother, this was the first time she had such close contact with a man. She felt the strong masculine qi, and her body became weaker and weaker. After a few steps, she fell into Qin Haodong's arms. "You're too weak, let me carry you." Qin Haodong had no choice but to bend down and carry Yun Xianxian on his back, and walk in the direction of his dormitory. Yun Xianxian's body was weak, and she knew that this was the best choice, so she could only lie on Qin Haodong's back. But after a few steps, she felt awkward. As they walked, she could feel the strength of Qin Haodong's back. This made her face burn, and she could only bury her face in Qin Haodong's neck. The two of them walked forward in this manner, and immediately attracted the attention of many people, including Dong Zhenjiang, who had just been beaten up. He saw Qin Haodong gritting his teeth, and then saw Yun Xianxian lying on Qin Haodong's back. Suddenly, he had an idea, and turned to run to a dormitory in the distance. The person who lived in this dormitory was none other than Xue Pan, who was ranked 4th in the Black Tortoise region. Xue Pan was a 4th-year student, and his cultivation had reached the late stage of the void training realm. He had always liked Yun Xianxian. He was also extremely domineering, and any student who came into close contact with Yun Xianxian would definitely be challenged by Xue Pan the next day. Those who did not accept the challenge would be beaten up for no reason. Over time, Yun Xianxian had become Xue Pan's woman in many people's hearts. After being beaten up the last time, Dong Zhenjiang had become much more well-behaved. But now that he had such a rare opportunity, he naturally would not wait until the freshman competition. After entering the room, he called out, "Brother Xue, something bad has happened." Xue Pan was sitting cross-legged in his room, cultivating. When he saw Dong Zhenjiang barge in, he said unhappily, "What's the fuss about? What are you doing here?" "Brother Xue, I just saw Yun Xianxian being taken away." "What did you say?" Xue Pan had never had a good impression of Dong Zhenjiang. Just when he was about to ask him to leave, he jumped up after hearing what Dong Zhenjiang said. He grabbed Dong Zhenjiang's collar and said sternly, "Say that again." Dong Zhenjiang looked panicked, but deep down, he was very happy. The angrier Xue Pan was, the more miserable it would be. "Brother Xue, don't be angry. I just saw a freshman this year." He carried Yun Xianxian to his dormitory. Senior Yun Xianxian has never been in contact with men, but now she is being carried by him. I guess she must have been forced. This guy is extremely lecherous. He has hooked up with several women as soon as he registered. I guess he must have taken a fancy to Senior Yun's beauty, so he took her away while she was sick. Xue Pan knew that Yun Xianxian was sick. He had originally planned to visit her after his cultivation, but now that she had been taken away, he suddenly became furious. "Where does Qin Haodong live? Take me there immediately. I want to save Qianqian." Dong Zhenjiang was overjoyed and said, "Brother Xue, that guy has been living with the little witch. You may not be able to deal with him alone. Why don't you call my brother and he Kaishan together? When we have the numbers, even if the little witch wants to help him, she won't be able to." Hearing the name of the little witch, Xue Pan also had a headache. Once she summoned a monster of a high level, he really couldn't deal with it. So he nodded and said, "Okay, go and call people now. Be fast. Don't let Qianqian suffer." "Don't worry, Brother Xue. I'll be back soon." Dong Zhenjiang ran out with a smile. Hearing that Xue Pan was going to deal with Qin Haodong, he Kaishan and Dong Zhenhai were also overjoyed. They immediately rushed over and followed Shui Pan to Qin Haodong's dormitory. Big boss. Fat cat rolls here and there. Chapter 888. Qin Haodong returned to the dormitory with Yun Qianqian on his back. The little she-devil jumped out and greeted him. Hey, where did you steal another beauty? When she saw Yun Qianqian's face, she was shocked and cried, Yun Qianqian, how did you become like this? Qin Haodong said, she's very sick and needs to be treated here. As he spoke, he put Yun Qianqian on the big bed in the bedroom. At this time, Yun Xiang had bought the medicine and hurried back. Qin Haodong left the preparation work to the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue, then took Yun Xiang to the alchemy room. 10 minutes later, a furnace of dredging meridians elixir was made. This was a second-grade elixir, which was not very high level, but it was very effective for Yun Qianqian and Yun Xiang's condition. After refining the elixir, he returned to the bedroom. At this time, Yun Qianqian was lying on the bed, covered with a sheet. Qin Haodong asked, is everything ready? The little she-devil said, yes, now Yun Qianqian is naked, there is nothing on her. Hearing this, Yun Qianqian was so embarrassed that she wanted to find a hole to hide in. However, for the sake of the treatment, she had no choice but to close her eyes tightly and pretend that she didn't hear or see anything. Qin Haodong first took out a dredging meridians elixir and fed it to Yun Qianqian. Then he said to the others, Luo Hongying, Yun Xiang, you two guard outside the door and don't let anyone disturb you. Zhao Xingyue, cooperate with me to treat the disease here. In fact, he did not need anyone to cooperate with him to treat the disease, but with Yun Qianqian's current condition, it was not suitable for him to stay in the room alone, so he left another person behind. Taking out the silver needles, Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment, then reached out and pulled off the sheet on Yun Qianqian's body, revealing a beautiful figure. At this time, Yun Qianqian's cheeks were red, as if blood was about to drip out. Her eyes were closed tightly, her eyelashes moved slightly, and her breathing became more rapid. Although Qin Haodong could recognize the acupoints through clothes, Yun Qianqian's congenital half of the yin linking meridian was incomplete, and it needed to be carefully repaired with the rejuvenative acupuncture needle. There could not be any mistakes, so he asked the little she-devil to take off all of Yun Qianqian's clothes. He licked his dry lips and said, don't be nervous, I'm just treating the disease. I know. Although Yun Qianqian said that, her voice was trembling with nervousness. After all, she had never let a man see her body before. Seeing that the meridian dredging pill had begun to work, Qin Haodong took out a silver needle and quickly pierced it into the Zhubin acupoint on her leg. The yin linking meridian was one of the most important meridians in the 8 extraordinary meridians. It started from the inner part of the calf where the 3 yin meridians of the foot intersected. It traveled along the inner part of the lower limbs to the abdomen, and then traveled along the Tai-yin spleen meridian of the foot. It then traveled up to the throat and merged with the Ren meridian. That was to say, this meridian ran through almost from the feet to the head. Qin Haodong's silver needles started from the feet and pierced them one by one, slowly moving upward to help repair the congenital underdeveloped meridian. In the past, he had used the rejuvenating needle to repair the meridians of others, but that was only a small part of it. This was the first time that he had healed half a meridian. Fortunately, his current cultivation had reached the middle stage of the void refinement stage. The powerful green wood genuine qi continuously flowed into Yun Qianqian through the silver needles, together with the meridian dredging pill, nourishing her meridians. As time went by, Yun Qianqian slowly lost her initial shyness and felt that significant changes had begun to take place in her body. The blocked meridians began to slowly open up, and the blood that had been stuck in her chest returned to the normal meridian circulation. In the end, a comfort that she had never felt before filled her body. She couldn't help but want to moan, but she used her rationality to control it. It's done. Qin Haodong wiped the sweat off his head and withdrew all the silver needles. Then, he pulled the sheet back and covered Yun Qianqian's body. Although she had already felt the changes in her body, Yun Qianqian still couldn't help but ask, Dr. Qin, is my illness really cured? Qin Haodong said, there's no problem at all. You can cultivate at will in the future, no matter how high your cultivation is. Dr. Qin, thank you. Yun Xianxian said, choking with tears. She was so excited. Since the ancestors of the Yun family, there were very few people who lived a long life. They began to die in the prime of their youth. Until now, only the two of them were left. Later, after the guidance of an expert, they learned that this was a congenital defect in the meridians, and the best way to avoid it was not to practice martial arts. However, the Yun family was a poor family. If they did not practice martial arts, there was no hope for their descendants to make a name for themselves. So, in the end, the sister and brother chose this path without hesitation. After the attack, she thought that she was really going to die. Unexpectedly, she met Qin Haodong, who completely cured her body's defect. She was so excited that she couldn't help but cry. Hearing her crying, the little she-devil ran in from outside and shouted at the top of her voice, "Little brother, did you take advantage of me?" Qin Haodong said awkwardly, "What nonsense are you talking about?" The little she-devil hugged his arm intimately and said, "You didn't take advantage of me. Why is Yun Xianxian crying?" Yun Xianxian hurriedly said, "This has nothing to do with Dr. Qin. I was just too excited. My disease has finally been cured." Zhao Xingyue also said, "Brother Qin was very honest. He just looked, he didn't touch Sister Yun's body." Qin Haodong was speechless. How could this girl say that? What did she mean by just looking? He was carefully inserting needles, how could he not see clearly? If he poked a wrong acupoint, it would be troublesome. The little she-devil said with a smile, "I can't even look. That's taking advantage of a girl. I have to compensate her." Yun Xianxian said, No, Dr. Qin is treating me. I can't thank him enough. How can I ask for compensation?" The little she-devil said, "That's another thing. Anyway, we girls can't show our bodies to anyone." She said to Qin Haodong, "Didn't you refine the void-breaking pill? Give one to Sister Yun as compensation." Qin Haodong glanced at the little she-devil. This girl looked careless, but in fact, she was quite kind-hearted. It was obvious that she was helping Yun Xianxian. He was not a stingy person, so he didn't care about a pill. He took out a void-breaking pill from his storage ring and gave it to Yun Xianxian. Yun Xianxian waved her hand and said, "Dr. Qin, you have cured my disease. I can't take any more of your pills." Qin Haodong said, "It doesn't matter. I'm selling this pill to you. You can return it to me when you have money." The little she-devil took the void-breaking pill and said, "Sister Yun, this is the latest 6th grade pill refined by my little brother. It can help you improve by 1 level. You should take it." She put the pill directly into Yun Xianxian's mouth without giving her any chance to resist. After the pill entered her mouth, Yun Xianxian suddenly felt her genuine qi rising and her body became extremely hot. She quickly sat cross-legged and digested the pill. Qin Haodong asked the little she-devil and Zhao Xingyue to stay here and walked out of the bedroom. Because of his gender, Yun Xiang didn't come in, but he secretly listened outside the door. Seeing Qin Haodong come out, he immediately said gratefully, "Brother Qin, thank you for saving my sister. Cut the crap and take off your clothes." Qin Haodong took Yun Xiang into the alchemy room and asked him to take off his clothes. Then, he began to treat his meridians. Yun Xiang's cultivation was still relatively low, so his condition was not as serious as Yun Xianxian's, so the treatment was much faster. About 20 minutes later, the Yin linking meridian was completely repaired. He took out a pill of fortune from his storage ring and said, "Take this pill and use it to improve your cultivation when the time is right." "Thank you, brother-in-law." Yun Xiang was in a good mood since he and his sister had been completely cured. Qin Haodong raised his hand and patted him on the head, reprimanding him, "Boy, don't talk nonsense." Yun Xiang touched his head and said with a smile, "Brother Qin, I'm not talking nonsense. You cured my sister and you even paid for the medicine. My sister and I are poor and have nothing to repay you, so I can only ask you to be my brother-in-law." Qin Haodong glared at him and said, "Boy, are you trying to renege on your promise?" Yin Xiang said with a smile, "How can I renege on my promise? My sister is so beautiful, so you won't lose anything. Besides, you just saw my sister. She is a very conservative person. I guess she will never marry anyone except you in her life. If you don't become my brother-in-law, who will?" He had already seen that Qin Haodong was a good doctor and a good character. He was definitely a good man that was hard to find, so he tried his best to make Enchanting and Qin Haodong a couple. Qin Haodong said, "It's fine if I treat you. I don't have to say anything if I have to pay for the pills. I can't lose myself." Yin Xiang said with a cheeky smile, "It's settled then. From now on, you are my brother-in-law." They went back to the bedroom while talking. At this time, Yin Shanxian had finished cultivating and put on her clothes again. Her spirit seemed to have improved a lot, and she had entered the threshold of the late stage of the void refinement stage. Seeing Qin Haodong enter the door, she quickly stood up from the bed and knelt in front of Qin Haodong. "Dr. Qin, thank you for saving me and Yin Xiang. We can't repay you, but our lives are yours from now on." "You're welcome. I'm a doctor, and it's my duty to treat people." Qin Haodong sighed secretly. One of them wanted him to be his brother-in-law, and the other wanted to pay for it with her life. It seemed that he couldn't get the money back. Yin Xiang said with a smile, "Sister, we are all family. You don't have to be so polite to my brother-in-law." Yin Shanxian glared at him and said, "You're talking nonsense again." Yin Xiang said with a smile, "I'm not talking nonsense. Anyway, Brother Qin is my only brother-in-law, and he has agreed." Hearing this, Yin Shanxian didn't say anything more. She glanced at Qin Haodong shyly, and her heart was beating fast. Because of her serious illness, she had never had a boyfriend, and no man could catch her eye. But Qin Haodong was different. He was the savior of the siblings, and he was handsome and outstanding. Naturally, she would have no complaints about marrying such a man. Qin Haodong felt that he couldn't explain it. Had the siblings done this together? How did they lose themselves in such a muddle-headed way? At this moment, there was a bang, and the door of the dormitory was kicked away. "Qin Haodong, come out. What did you do to Qianqian?" With an angry shout, Shui Pan rushed in from outside, followed by He Kaishan, Dong Zhenhai, and Dong Zhenjiang. Qin Haodong frowned and walked out of the room. He glanced at the unfriendly people and said to Shui Pan, "Who are you? You'll have to pay for breaking the door." Shui Pan shouted angrily, "Stop talking nonsense. Hand over Qianqian, or I'll not only tear down your house, but also your bones." Chapter 889. Qin Haodong didn't know why the man was coming for Yin Shanxian. He turned to look at Yin Shanxian. Yin Shanxian said coldly, "Shui Pan, what are you doing here? What do I have to do with you?" Although Shui Pan had been pursuing her, she didn't have a good impression of him. She hated him for going against her. However, she was only in the mid-stage of void training, one level lower than Shui Pan. She was also seriously ill, so she couldn't do anything about it. Shui Pan yelled, "Qianqian, this guy must be forcing you. Don't worry, I'm here. No one can bully you." Yin Xiang yelled, "Shui, what are you talking about? My brother-in-law has a good relationship with my sister. When did he ever force my sister?" Shui Pan's eyes widened when he heard this. He shouted, "What did you say? What's the relationship between this guy and your sister?" Yin Xiang didn't like Shui Pan either. He curled his lips and said, "Are you deaf? I have to repeat important things 3 times. Qin Haodong is my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law. My brother-in-law. Did you hear me clearly this time?" Shui Pan was furious. He had always been a domineering person and would never allow anyone to touch Yin Shanxian. Now that a brother-in-law had popped up out of nowhere, he was furious. "Yin Shanxian, give me an explanation. What's going on?" Yin Shanxian glanced at Qin Haodong. She didn't know that this so-called brother-in-law was made up by her brother. Qin Haodong didn't agree. She was most afraid that the man in front of her would misunderstand her. She quickly said, "Shui Pan, what do I have to do with you? Why should I give you an explanation? But since you want to know, I'll tell you. Qin Haodong is my boyfriend. I won't marry anyone else but him. Are you satisfied now?" Just as Yun Xiang said, Yun Xianxian was a very conservative person. Since Qin Haodong had seen her naked, she really wanted to marry him. You, Shui Pan was so angry that his chest was burning. He wanted to vomit blood. Dong Zhenhai whispered in his ear, "Brother Shui, don't be angry. I'm guessing that Yun Xianxian must have been threatened by that little brat. I have to say that. As long as we kill that brat, everything will be over." Shui Pan thought it made sense. Although Qin Haodong was handsome, it was his first time meeting Yun Xianxian. Moreover, Yun Xianxian couldn't compare to him in terms of cultivation. Yun Xianxian had no reason to fall in love with him at first sight. "Xian, don't be afraid. Come back to me now. With me here, no one can hurt you." Hearing him shout like this, the little she-devil immediately became unhappy. She glared at him and said, "Shui Pan, do you have any shame? Was my big sister Yun not clear enough? She doesn't like you at all. Hurry up and scram. Don't cause trouble in my little brother's place. Otherwise, I'll release my dogs to bite you to death." Shui Pan was already prepared for the little she-devil's presence. He shouted, "Luo Hongying, I'm telling you, this has nothing to do with you today. Run as far away as you can, or I'll beat you up as well. The one with the surname Shui, how dare you speak to me like this? See how I'll deal with you." The little she-devil was instantly enraged. No one in the academy had ever dared to provoke her. With a thought, a huge crystal ball appeared in her palm. Then, the simple and unadorned living spirit gate slowly opened in the hexagram. "Shui Pan, today I'll summon a giant dragon to bite you to death," the little she-devil said hatefully. "Come out, my baby." Following her summon, the living spirit gate slowly opened. This time, everyone became nervous, including Shui Pan. As a veteran in the academy, he naturally knew that the little she-devil's summoning was extremely unreliable. He didn't know what kind of demon beast she would summon. If she could really summon a giant dragon as she said, then he could only run with his tail between his legs. If he ran any slower, he would become the demon beast's feces. As the strongest person, he was already so cautious. Dong Zhenhai, He Kai-shan, and the others were even more so. Not to mention powerful creatures, like the three-headed Cerberus from last time, they wouldn't be able to fight against 3 or 5 of them. Qin Haodong looked at the Holy Spirit Gate with great interest. He also wanted to see what the little she-devil could summon. At this time, the living spirit gate opened and a white figure jumped out. When everyone saw the creature clearly, they almost laughed out loud. It turned out to be a cute snow-white rabbit. After coming out, its 2 blood-red eyes scanned the surroundings. When it saw the aggressive Shui Pan and the others, it jumped into the little she-devil's embrace as if it was startled. Its whole body trembled. Shui Pan burst into laughter. "Luo Hongying, is this the giant dragon you summoned? Quickly let it bite me." The little she-devil was so angry that her face turned red. She never thought that she would summon such a useless thing. "Damn it, why did you come out to join in the fun? I'll let little brother stew you later." Although the little she-devil was angry, she couldn't do anything. She needed to rest for at least 10 minutes after summoning the living spirit gate. In other words, if she wanted to summon a demon beast to help her fight, she would have to wait for 10 minutes. Now, she had completely lost the ability to fight. "Surnamed Sheen Brat, let's see what else you can rely on." Shui Pan strode into the yard, pointed at Qin Haodong and shouted, "Come and fight me if you're a man." Yun Xianxian didn't know what Qin Haodong's cultivation was and was afraid that he would be injured. She stepped in front of him and said to Shui Pan, "Shui Pan, I'll tell you again. No one is threatening me, and I have nothing to do with you. Don't make trouble here. Get out of here, do you hear me? Shui Pan shouted with bloodshot eyes, Yun Xianxian, do you really want this pretty boy? How is he stronger than me? Yun Xianxian said coldly, you're right, I want him. He's stronger than you in every way. Then I'll cripple him today and show you who's the real strong one. After saying that, Shui Pan suddenly punched Qin Haodong's chest. As the fourth strongest person in the world, his punch was naturally extraordinary. Under his full strength, there was a faint sound of wind and thunder. Shui Pan, don't you dare. With a shout, Yun Xianxian raised her hand to meet the attack. It happened so suddenly that it was too late for Shui Pan to stop. Their fist and palm collided. With a loud bang, Shui Pan took 5 or 6 steps back. Yun Xianxian also took a step back and leaned into Qin Haodong's arms. The two of them were evenly matched. Shui Pan's anger turned into shock. Qianxian, weren't you sick? How did your cultivation improve so quickly? Yun Xianxian said, it was Haodong who cured me and helped me improve my cultivation. Now you know that he's better than you, right? Shui Pan's eyes flashed with a strong murderous intent. Since he's so capable, let him fight me directly. Seeing that this guy was not going to stop, Yun Xianxian was also angry. If you want to touch my man, you'll have to get through me first. After saying that, she jumped into the air and kicked Shui Pan's head with her long leg. Yun Xianxian, since you're heartless, don't blame me for being heartless. Shui Pan raised his hand to catch Yun Xianxian's leg and turned to Shui Kaishan and the others. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and cripple this kid. Then, he entangled Yun Xianxian so that he Kaishan, Dong Zhenhai, and the others could attack Qin Haodong. At this point, the difference in strength between the two sides was obvious. The little witch, the unreliable summoner, had a rabbit in her arms. She was anxious but could do nothing to help. Yun Xiang's cultivation was only in the early stage of the soul formation stage. He was no match for Dong Zhenhai and Yi Kaishan, who had already entered the void training stage. Zhao Xingyue's cultivation was very high. With Qin Haodong's help, she had reached the mid-stage of the qi refinement stage. In terms of cultivation, she was not inferior to Yi Kaishan. Unfortunately, she was too timid. At this time, she grabbed Qin Haodong's arm and hid behind him. She had no courage to fight. Qin Haodong, let's see who can help you this time. Dong Zhenhai sneered and reached out to grab Qin Haodong's neck. Although he didn't dare to kill him, he wanted to humiliate this pretty boy to vent the depression in his heart for the past few days. Qin Haodong frowned slightly. These people were really endless. Did they think that he was a sick cat if he did not show his power? He was now in the mid-stage of the void training stage. Even if he did not take the explosive Yuan pill, Yi Kaishan and Dong Zhenhai in front of him together would not be a match for him. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in the courtyard and shouted coldly, all of you, stop. This shout was loud and powerful. Everyone looked in his direction and saw a middle-aged man in an Armani suit and big black leather shoes standing there with great momentum. Seeing Luo Qingshan, Qin Haodong secretly laughed. After the old man put on the suit, he looked much younger. If he were on Earth, he would really think that he was the president of some big company. He was very familiar with Luo Qingshan's outfit because it was his work. However, the others present had never seen a suit, nor did they know that Luo Qingshan had cut off his hair and beard. For a moment, they did not recognize that this was their dean. Dong Zhenjiang finally found a chance to take revenge. Naturally, he did not want to be disturbed by outsiders. He stepped forward and grabbed Luo Dongqing's collar. Where did this monster come from? Get out of here. How dare you meddle in my business? Do you want to die? Luo Dongqing originally came here excitedly. Today, he dressed up carefully according to Qin Haodong's arrangement and went to see his wife with the MP3 player. Things went as smoothly as Qin Haodong had expected. After receiving the MP3 player, his wife was very happy and couldn't put it down. Not only did she not drive him out, but she also made him a cup of tea, which made the old man so happy that he could not close his mouth. Originally, he came to thank Qin Haodong and ask for advice on what to do next, but he happened to meet Shui Pan and others here to make trouble. What was more unexpected was that Dong Zhenjiang dared to grab his collar. Didn't he know that he won the favor of his wife with this outfit? Thinking of this, Luo Dongqing flew into a rage. He raised his hand and slapped Dong Zhenjiang in the face. He was directly slapped more than 10 meters away and hit a big tree next to him with a bang. Brother, this old guy dared to hit me. Take revenge for me. Until now, Dong Zhenjiang still did not recognize who hit him. Dong Zhenhai shouted, "Old man, how dare you touch my brother?" He had been in the Black Tortoise Academy for 4 years and was confident that he knew everyone in the academy. However, he had never seen this person in front of him. Since he was not a teacher of the academy, he did not hesitate to punch Luo Dongqing hard in the face. Luo Dongqing was almost mad. A student of his academy repeatedly attacked him. Was there any law? Dong Zhenhai, do you want to die? With a roar, Luo Dongqing's momentum at the peak of the form synthesis stage suddenly broke out and instantly suppressed Dong Zhenhai. Chapter 890. Feeling the other party's powerful aura, Dong Zhenhai turned pale with fright. Only now did he recognize who the person in front of him was. With a face full of fear, he cried out, "Dean! Dean!" Following his cry, the others also recognized the person in the strange attire as Luo Dongqing, almost peeing their pants in fright. Shui Pan and He Kai Shan quickly withdrew their hands and obediently stood to the side. Although they were arrogant, they were nothing in front of Luo Dongqing. Luo Dongqing was originally in high spirits, but now that her mood was dampened by these guys, she immediately became furious. "You dare to openly violate the Institute's rules, coming here to fight, do you really think I won't dare to expel you?" Luo Dongqing said as she reached out and grabbed Dong Zhenjiang's collar. "The most hateful one is you, repeatedly breaking the rules. Do you really think our Black Tortoise Institute's rules are just for show? You even dare to grab my collar, from now on you are expelled, quickly get out of Black Tortoise Institute for me." Dong Zhenjiang was dumbfounded. Last time, he was only fined 200 spirit stones, he and his brother were not expelled, which made him feel lucky. He thought that by relying on his brother's face, he wouldn't be expelled, so he unscrupulously fought again and again. Black Tortoise Institute was one of the most prestigious institutes in Lingwu continent, with an illustrious reputation. If he was expelled from here, no other institute would be willing to accept him. This result was extremely serious. "Dean Luo, I was wrong, I really didn't recognize you, please give me another chance." This time, Dong Zhenjiang was completely dumbfounded, really scared. He knelt on the ground with a plop, begging bitterly. Dong Zhenhai quickly came over to plead, "Yes, Dean, please give my brother another chance." Luo Dongqing fiercely glared at him. "Dong Zhenhai, don't think that just because you are one of the top 10 experts of the institute, you can do whatever you want. Last time I already warned you, but you repeatedly violated the institute's rules. From now on, you are also expelled from Black Tortoise Institute, no longer our student." "What?" Dong Zhenhai's mouth was wide open, standing there with a dumbfounded expression. Just as Luo Dongqing said, he relied on the fact that he was one of the top 10 experts in the academy and thought that a student like him wouldn't be expelled by the academy, so he was fearless. But who would have thought that Luo Dongqing was truly enraged this time? Not only did she expel his younger brother, Dong Zhenjiang, she also expelled him from Black Tortoise Academy. After coming back to his senses, he hurriedly said, "Dean, please consider it carefully. It's going to be the North-South College competition soon. I still want to contribute to the college." He still had a sliver of hope that Luo Dongqing was just being impulsive. If she remembered the North-South Academy tournament, she wouldn't have expelled him. After all, there weren't many students as outstanding as him. Luo Dongqing said coldly, "You really think of yourself as the pillar of the academy. Even without you, our academy can still participate in the North-South Academy tournament. The two of you, go back and pack your things now. Get out of Black Tortoise Institution and don't let me see you again. Dong Junjiang and Dong Junhai were completely dumbfounded. As the saying goes, if you don't court death, you won't die. They had fully experienced the true meaning of this sentence. Originally, Qin Haodong was just a freshman and didn't have much interaction with them. But in the end, their incessant provocation had harmed the two brothers. At this point, they had no other choice but to leave the dormitory dejectedly and go back to pack their things. Black Tortoise Institution had always had strict rules and the dean was a man of his word. If they still didn't leave after being expelled, they would probably have to spend the rest of their lives in the academy's prison. After dealing with the Dong brothers, Luo Dongqing looked at Xue Pan and He Kai-shan coldly. Since it's your first offense, each of you will pay 2,000 top-grade spirit stones as a fine. If there's a next time, you will be like them and get out of Black Tortoise Institution. Yes, Dean. We know we're wrong. With the Dong brothers as the chickens, the two monkeys naturally didn't dare to act rashly. They obediently paid 2,000 top-grade spirit stones each and left the dormitory with their tails between their legs. Old man, you did well this time. Let me reward you. The little she-devil ran to Luo Dongqing's side and kissed him on the cheek. You naughty girl. A smile appeared on Luo Dongqing's face and then disappeared. She pretended to look at Qin Haodong seriously and said, You boy, every time there's a fight, you're involved. Shouldn't you pay me a fine? Qin Haodong smiled and said, Sure. How much do you want? Luo Dongqing said, They all paid 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. I'll give you a discount. How about 1,000? No problem. 1,000 top-grade spirit stones is nothing. Seeing that Qin Haodong agreed so easily, Luo Dongqing had a bad feeling in his heart. This boy had always been a miser. When did he become so generous? Sure enough, Qin Haodong smiled playfully and said, Headmaster Luo, I forgot to tell you last time. The magical instrument for listening to music I gave you costs 100,000 top-grade spirit stones. And the clothes you're wearing and the shoes on your feet, I'll give you a discount. 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. After deducting the 1,000 top-grade spirit stones, you still have to pay me 109,000 top-grade spirit stones. Luo Dongqing was dumbfounded. Although he was the headmaster of the college and had some money, he couldn't take out so many top-grade spirit stones. Seeing that the fine had not been paid, but he was in debt, he quickly said with a smile, Little Qin, I was just joking with you. What's our relationship? How could I punish you? Yun Shanqian, Yun Xiang and the others were shocked. In the past, Luo Dongqing had always been very serious in front of everyone. They had never seen him act like this. Only then did the little she-devil notice the appearance of her grandpa. She stepped forward and touched his suit, saying, Grandpa, did my little brother give you this suit? It looks much more handsome. And who took care of your hair and beard? You look at least 50 years younger than before. Really? That's what your grandma said. Thinking of her own happy things, Luo Dongqing laughed. The little she-devil asked in surprise, Did you go to see Grandma? Luo Dongqing said, Yes, I just came back from her. Grandma didn't drive you out? No, she made me a cup of tea, Luo Dongqing said proudly. It seems that it's not long before I go home. Well, Grandpa, I didn't expect you to be so good at pleasing Grandma. Qin Haodong said, It's all because of me. If I followed his dogskin plaster, I wouldn't be able to go home for the rest of my life. Luo Dongqing didn't care about the headmaster's face at this time. He quickly nodded and said, Yes, it's all thanks to little Qin's help this time. He didn't dare to offend Qin Haodong now. After all, he had only won the favor of his wife. There was still a long way to go before he could go home and sleep with her. Seeing that they were talking about Luo Dongqing's private affairs, Yun Shanqian said with some embarrassment, Dean Luo, Dr. Qin, if there's nothing else, we'll go back. Don't go. Stay and have a meal together. I'll cook for everyone. Just now, Yun Xianxian had been standing in front of him, and Qin Haodong was very satisfied with the little girl's performance. Yes, Sister Yun, have a taste of my little brother's cooking. I promise you won't want to leave after eating this. Qin Haodong knocked on her head and said, Do you think everyone is a little foodie like you? The little she-devil rubbed her head and said, What's wrong with being a foodie? I love eating your food. Don't try to get rid of me for the rest of your life. Seeing that everyone wanted her to stay, Yun Xianxian was too embarrassed to leave, so she stayed with Yun Xiang. Qin Haodong cooked very quickly. In addition, most of the things in his ring were processed semi-finished products. Soon, a table of sumptuous dinner was served. Oh, it smells so good. The little she-devil took the lead and put a piece of braised pork ribs into her mouth. She ate it happily. Delicious, it's really delicious, she said and kissed Qin Haodong's cheek out of habit. His face was covered with the braised pork rib soup. You little girl, you're also a 20-year-old girl. Why don't you have any manners? Luo Dongqing reprimanded the little she-devil and then said to Qin Haodong with a flattering face, Little Qin, such good food, you can't have no wine to drink, can you? Qin Haodong glanced at her and said, Don't you have so much good wine? Luo Dongqing said, I don't have much wine, so I have to drink it sparingly. Besides, I'm here, so I should drink your wine. You old man, you're just trying to get my wine. Qin Haodong first took out a bottle of Wuliangye from his storage ring and threw it to Luo Dongqing. Then he took out a box of beer and gave everyone a bottle. Good wine, it's really good wine. Luo Dongqing had just opened the bottle and smelled the aroma of Wuliangye. She sniffed hard and then looked at Qin Haodong's storage ring and said, Little Qin, I really don't know how many good things you've hidden. The little she-devil said, Old man, it's good enough that I gave you wine. Don't have any ideas about me. Luo Dongqing glared at her discontentedly and said, Naughty girl, I'm your grandfather. Don't you know who to help? Besides, I just glanced at his ring and didn't take it. What's the big deal? The little she-devil stuck out her tongue and said, Of course I know who to help. It's to help my little brother. Seeing that her granddaughter was standing on the other side, Luo Dongqing could only pour himself a glass of wine and drink it in one gulp. Everyone also began to eat. After taking a bite of the sweet and sour fish, Yun Xianxian's eyes suddenly lit up. She finally knew why the little she-devil stayed here and didn't want to leave. She had never eaten such delicious food in her life. Under the temptation of the delicacies, everyone at the table stopped talking and began to eat heartily. Like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds, they quickly finished the table of delicacies. After the meal, Yun Xianxian took Yun Xiang back to her dormitory. Zhao Xingyue took the little she-devil into her room, leaving only Qin Haodong and Luo Dongqing in the yard. Old man, if you have anything to say, just say it. Luo Dongqing drank the whole bottle of Wuliangye, her cheeks swollen. At this time, his cheeks were red and his face was full of excitement. Little Qin, to tell you the truth, after I went there today, the old woman behaved really well. I also know it's all thanks to you. What should I do next? How can I go home again? Of course, strike the iron while it's hot and further increase her affection for you. Luo Dongqing said, I understand the reason, but I don't know what to do. Qin Haodong glanced at him and asked, What does your wife think of your clothes? Not bad. She also said that my clothes are very handsome, much better than the previous robe. That's easy. Take this and give it to your wife as a gift. Qin Haodong nodded. Since Luo Dongqing's wife could accept the fashionable clothes of the earthlings, it meant that she also had a beautiful heart. So he took out a miniskirt and a pair of red high heels from the storage ring and gave them to Luo Dongqing. Chapter 891. Seeing these two things, Luo Dongqing asked in surprise, What is this? This is a woman's favorite. You'll be absolutely beautiful when you wear it. Qin Haodong asked, by the way, is your wife a big fat woman? Your wife is a big fat woman. Luo Dongqing glared at Qin Haodong and said, I told you, my wife is as beautiful as a flower. She's so beautiful that she can embarrass the flowers and block the moon. Seeing that the old man was endless, Qin Haodong quickly said, okay, tell me more details so that I can choose the right size for your wife. Luo Dongqing said, she's about the same size as Hong Ying. This child originally took after her grandmother. Then she can wear this size. Qin Haodong stuffed the high heels and the miniskirt in his hand to Luo Dongqing. Then he took out a bottle of Chanel perfume and said, help her to the end. Give her these as well. Luo Dongqing took these things and asked doubtfully, little Qin, will this work? You don't believe me, do you? Then give them back to me. If it weren't for your strength today, I wouldn't have given you so many gifts. I believe you, I believe you. Luo Dongqing quickly put these things into the storage ring, for fear that Qin Haodong would take them back if he was unhappy. Qin Haodong smiled and said, old man, you did a good job today. You expelled those 2 flies at once. Luo Dongqing said, of course, nothing can be accomplished without rules. Those 2 guys made the same mistake again and again. What are the rules of the academy? Qin Haodong asked, what's the North-South Academy competition that Dong Junhai mentioned? Luo Dongqing said, in order to maintain the competition and encourage students to make progress, the Xuanwu Academy was divided into 2 at the beginning of its establishment. Our side belongs to the North Academy, and the other side of the mountain belongs to the South Academy. According to the rules of the academy, the North-South Academy has to hold a competition every year to see which side is better. Qin Haodong nodded and said, Dong Junhai is the 10th master in the world. Aren't you afraid of losing the competition if you expel him now? Luo Dongqing said, Dong Junhai is just at the early stage of the void training realm. What's so great about him? If I expel him, someone will take his place. Qin Haodong said, it seems that there are many masters in our school. Luo Dongqing shook her head and said with a sinister smile, you're wrong. There aren't many experts in our academy. The person I said can replace Dong Junhai is you. Qin Haodong came here just to improve his cultivation quietly. He didn't want to participate in any competition. He quickly said, old man, are you mistaken? I can't do that. Why not? Do you think I'm a fool? Luo Dongqing said proudly, since you can pass the grade 6 alchemist exam, it means that you have at least reached the early stages of the void tempering stage. Furthermore, you have refined a cauldron of void-breaking elixirs, and even helped Fang Qiong'er to advance a level. How could you not use it yourself? Hence, I'm guessing that you're at the mid-stage of the spatial tempering stage at the very least, which is 1 stage higher than Dong Junhai, so there's nothing wrong with that. Qin Haodong looked at the old man who reeked of alcohol in surprise. How did you know that? Aren't you too cunning? Luo Dongqing smiled and said, of course, I'm the dean of this academy. How could you hide anything from me? In a few days, the freshman competition will be held. You have to perform well. Only by obtaining excellent results can you qualify to participate in the North-South competition. Qin Haodong said, I'm not interested in that. Luo Dongqing smiled like a fox. Don't say I didn't tell you in advance. The prize of the freshman competition is 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. This is not a small amount. If you don't want it, then forget it. When Qin Haodong heard such a large amount of top-grade spirit stones, his heart suddenly moved. No matter what, he couldn't let go of this money. What he lacked the most right now was money. Although he thought so in his heart, he still said dismissively, do I look like a person who loves money? Luo Dongqing nodded with certainty. Yes. This old man looked sloppy, but in fact, he was quite calculating. Qin Haodong said, well, you're right. Even if it's 20,000 top-grade spirit stones, I will still win the freshman competition. Well, since we're full, I'm going to find a wife. After saying that, Luo Dongqing got up and left Qin Haodong's dormitory. After sending the old man away, Qin Haodong returned to his dormitory. As soon as he entered the door, the two girls had already taken a bath and were talking and laughing in the room. "Little brother, you're back." Seeing him enter the door, the two girls immediately came up to him, one on the left and one on the right, holding his arms intimately. Feeling the breath of youth and seeing the four white and long legs, Qin Haodong felt a little regretful. He shouldn't have let the two girls wear such sexy pajamas. Wasn't it torturing him? The little she-devil took his hand and said with a smile, "Little brother, what are you looking at?" Qin Haodong quickly withdrew his gaze. "Nothing." The little she-devil said, "Who's more beautiful, me, Sister Xingyue, or Sister Yun?" "You're all beautiful, you're all beautiful." Qin Haodong was not being perfunctory. The three girls each had their own characteristics. Zhao Xingyue had a noble temperament, Yun Xianxian was the daughter of a humble family, and the little she-devil had a Lolita face and a devilish body. Any one of the three girls would be the goddess of countless men. The little she-devil secretly leaned over to his ear and whispered, "Does Sister Yun look good without clothes?" What are you talking about?" "I'm a doctor, that's necessary for treatment." "Little brother, why are you in such a hurry?" "I didn't say anything bad about you." The little she-devil said with a smile, "I'm just asking if you look good." "Well, I'm tired. Let's go to sleep." Qin Haodong really couldn't resist this demonic little girl, so he simply lay down on the floor and covered himself with the quilt. However, listening to the little she-devil's words just now, he couldn't help but feel a fire in his heart, and then a strong feeling of longing arose. He had so many women, and he didn't know how they were doing now. And the little fellow, if he suddenly disappeared, would she miss him? Would she be sad? In the endless longing, he fell asleep in a daze. After an unknown period of time, a strong sense of crisis suddenly woke him up, but before he opened his eyes, he suddenly felt numb, and his acupoints were sealed. Who was it? How could they enter his room without a sound? Qin Haodong was shocked. Could it be that Xue Pan and the others secretly came to take revenge on him? However, after thinking about it, it was impossible. With their cultivation of the void refinement realm, it was impossible for them to enter the room without alerting him. Although his acupoints were sealed, his primordial spirit was still there, but to his horror, he couldn't feel the cultivation of the person behind him, which meant that this person was at least an expert of the great vehicle stage. Now that he was caught, what about the two girls? That person didn't care about Qin Haodong's thoughts at all. After sealing his acupoints, he grabbed his waist and brought him out of the room, then flew away. Qin Haodong was very nervous when such a mysterious expert of the great vehicle stage suddenly appeared. His current cultivation was too low, even if he swallowed the Great Yuan Burst pill, he couldn't be this person's opponent. But at this moment, a strong fragrance entered his nostrils. This was the smell of Chanel No. 5, the perfume he had just given out tonight. In the entire Lingwu continent, there was only one person who could use this kind of perfume, and that was Luo Dongqing's wife. After confirming the identity of the other party, his heart was a lot more at ease. Since she was Luo Dongqing's wife, she shouldn't kill him, let alone the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. No wonder the old man Luo Dongqing couldn't return home. It turned out that his wife was so powerful that she was a level higher than him, reaching the great vehicle stage. However, he was very confused in his heart. He had never provoked this old woman, so why did she catch him? Was she not satisfied with his guidance to Luo Dongqing? Just as he was speculating, the person stopped and casually unsealed his acupoints. Qin Haodong opened his eyes and found himself in a two-story bamboo building, and in front of him stood a woman in a miniskirt. This woman had a head full of silver hair, but her face did not show any signs of aging. Moreover, it was just as Luo Dongqing had said, she did indeed have a peerless appearance, and her eyebrows and eyes were somewhat similar to the little she-devil. Now he could completely confirm the identity of the other party. Miniskirt, high heels, this was Luo Dongqing's wife, Luo Hongying's grandmother. Originally, when he sent the high heels and miniskirt to Luo Dongqing, he still had a bad idea in his heart. He wanted to see what the old lady would look like after wearing it. Now she looked quite beautiful. Boy, what are you looking at? Believe it or not, I will dig your eyes out. The old lady said coldly. Senior, it's nothing. I just think this set of clothes is very suitable for you. Although the other party's attitude was very cold, Qin Haodong didn't feel her murderous intent, so he was still very relaxed. The old lady snorted and said, Tell me, what is your purpose in approaching my granddaughter? Qin Haodong was speechless. This granddaughter was called the Little Witch, and her grandmother's thinking was not very normal. Elder sister, no. Senior, when did I approach your granddaughter? She thought the food here was delicious, so she stayed here and didn't leave, okay? And she never paid a penny. The old lady said, Since you like my granddaughter, you shouldn't hook up with other women. Qin Haodong was speechless. The old lady's thinking was too jumpy. Ordinary people couldn't keep up with her at all. Senior, when did I say that I liked your granddaughter? I'm at most friends with her. My granddaughter has never liked any man since she was a child. Since she likes you now, you must like her. Qin Haodong was speechless. Qin Haodong suddenly found that he was simply speechless. Whatever the old lady said was completely according to her temperament. She didn't play by the rules at all. No wonder she could not let the old man in for 10 years. Her character was definitely not ordinary. Only a masochist like Luo Dongqing could stand it. If it were him, he would not go back no matter what. The old lady continued, From today on, you can only be with my granddaughter alone. Treat her well, and you are not allowed to have anything to do with other women. When you go back, drive Zhao Xingyue away, and you are not allowed to have any contact with Fang Qiong and Yun Qianqian. A man should be devoted to a woman. Qin Haodong said with a bitter face, Senior, I told you that Luo Hongying and I are just ordinary friends. We really don't have that kind of relationship. Nonsense, my granddaughter is so beautiful. How can you not like her? Qin Haodong felt that it was really impossible to reason with the old lady, so he could only say, Senior, in fact, I already have a girlfriend. Chapter 892. Right now, all he wanted was to return to Earth as soon as possible and reunite with his woman. Although Zhao Xingyue, the Little Witch, and the others were also very outstanding, he really did not have any thoughts about them. You can't have a girlfriend. You have to marry my granddaughter. The old lady said coldly, Who's your girlfriend? Tell me, and I'll kill her right now. Qin Haodong was about to collapse. He had seen unreasonable people, but he had never seen such an unreasonable person. Senior, you can't be so unreasonable, right? Reason? My granddaughter is the reason. As long as she is happy, I will do anything. The old lady said, Tell me, is your girlfriend Fang Qiong or Yun Qianqian? Or rather, that girl called Zhao Xingyue? None of them are. In the face of such a perverted old lady, Qin Haodong certainly did not dare to speak carelessly, or these girls might really be harmed by him. Who is that? Hurry up and tell me, or I'll kill all 3 of them. Qin Haodong was almost driven crazy. How could there be such a person in the Lingwu continent? In the end, he could only say helplessly, Senior, I was lying to you just now. I don't have a girlfriend. Since you don't have a girlfriend, then stay with my granddaughter. I'll let you get married in a few days. Hearing this, Qin Haodong was anxious and hurriedly cried, No, Senior. The old lady said with a cold face, What? Don't you like my granddaughter? No, your granddaughter is so beautiful, how could I not like her? But we are still in school, isn't it too early to get married? In the face of a master of the Desheng stage, Qin Haodong felt powerless. The old lady said, It's not early at all. I married Luo Dongqing when we were still in school. Qin Haodong was at a loss. He had a lot of women waiting for him on Earth. He couldn't marry the little witch, could he? But if he didn't agree, this old lady with a strange temper might do something. Suddenly, he had an idea. Senior, now that things have come to this, I can only tell you the truth. If you want me to marry Luo Hongying, then that would be harming your granddaughter. The old lady stared at him and asked, what do you mean? Qin Haodong gritted his teeth and said shyly, I can't hide it from you now. In fact, I don't like women. I like men. Think about it, if someone like me really marries your granddaughter, she will never be happy. The old lady's stiff expression changed once again. You're not lying to me, are you? Senior, how could I dare to lie to you? What I said is true. Think about it, your granddaughter is so beautiful, and I slept in the same room with her. If I like women, how could nothing happen? Otherwise, it would be abnormal. It seemed that Qin Haodong's words made sense. The old lady nodded slightly and said, boy, let's forget about what happened today. If I find out that you lied to me, I will cut you up. Qin Haodong almost cried. Who had he provoked? Not only had he been labeled as a gay friend, but now he was facing the risk of becoming a eunuch at any time. It seemed that he really had to be careful in the future. He couldn't show his feelings to any woman. Otherwise, if this Desheng stage old lady knew about it, then he would be in danger. No, senior, I dare not lie to you, but please keep it a secret from me. After all, this kind of thing is not good to hear. Go away, I don't want to talk about your ugly things. After knowing about Qin Haodong's situation, the old lady seemed to be very disgusted. She waved her hand and directly drove him out of the room. Qin Haodong went out and finally breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, he got through this. After going out, he looked around. This was the mountain between their north and south colleges, called Black Tortoise Mountain. As for the old lady, she lived alone in a bamboo house halfway up the mountain. The location was secluded and not bad. After determining the direction, he rushed down from the top of the mountain and returned to his dormitory. When he entered the door, he found the little witch and Zhao Xingyue sitting on the bed with anxious expressions on their faces. Seeing Qin Haodong enter the door, Zhao Xingyue said anxiously, Brother Qin, where have you been? Why did you suddenly disappear? In contrast, the little witch was much calmer. She giggled and asked, Little brother, did you secretly go on a date with Sister Yun? After hearing her words, Qin Haodong's expression became tense. If it was under normal circumstances, he would have passed it off as a joke, but this kind of joke could not be made now. It might bring trouble to Yun Qianqian. Little girl, you can't talk nonsense like this. I have nothing to do with Yun Qianqian. The little witch stuck out her tongue and said, Since you have nothing to do with her, why are you so nervous? Are you feeling guilty? Qin Haodong thought to himself, how can I not feel guilty with your perverted old lady around? However, he could only think about it in his heart and did not dare to say it out loud. Zhao Xingyue said, Brother Qin, then where did you go? I was really scared when I saw you disappear just now. I was afraid that you would leave me alone. It was really hard to say where he had gone just now. He could only smile and say, Nothing, I was just taken away by an old monster. The little witch made a face and said, You're lying. There is no old monster in our Black Tortoise College. I think you secretly went on a date with a beautiful woman. You can think whatever you want. Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment and said, Luo Hongying, it's not very convenient for the three of us to live here. How about you move out? He was really afraid of the little witch, that perverted old lady. If he continued to live like this, there was no telling what would happen one day. It would be terrible if he was accidentally cut up. He would not be able to face his women then. Hearing his words, the smile on the little witch's face suddenly disappeared. She said nervously, Brother, why do you want to drive me away? Did I do something wrong? Qin Haodong quickly said, No, I just think it's not very convenient for the three of us to live together. No, it's fine for the three of us to live together. The little witch suddenly showed a look of realization. Brother, do you think I don't pay you for food and accommodation here? If so, I can go to Grandpa for money. Hearing what she said, Zhao Xingyue also said pitifully, Brother Qin, I also know that I have been using your money these days. I will pay you back in the future. Don't drive me away, okay? Before one was settled, another one ran away to make a fuss. Qin Haodong said helplessly, No, it's not about money. If you are short of money, I can give you some. The little witch's face suddenly became ugly. That is to say, I'm very annoying to you, right? Since you want me to leave, then I'll leave and never come back. After that, she angrily walked out of the door. Qin Haodong suddenly realized a serious problem. If he really drove the little witch away, would the girl complain to her grandmother? If the perverted old lady knew that he had driven her granddaughter away, would she directly come to him to settle accounts? Thinking of this, he felt that the possibility was really high. For his own safety, he quickly went forward and grabbed the little witch. Don't go. In fact, I was just joking with you. The little witch turned back, and her eyes were already a little wet. Brother, do you really hate me? No, you are so cute, how could I hate you? Then you won't drive me away? No, I was just joking with you. You can stay as long as you want. I know you are the best to me. The little witch said and threw herself into his arms, pouting her little mouth. It seemed that she wanted to kiss him again. Qin Haodong was shocked. Although he could not drive the girl away, it was still necessary to keep a distance. He quickly dodged to the side and reached out to grab the little witch's shoulder. Stop it, it's almost dawn. Let's go to sleep. The three of them lay back on the bed, but Qin Haodong could not sleep. He kept thinking about what he should do next. Since he could not drive the little witch away, he could only avoid her by himself. In the future, he would try to refine pills as much as possible and reduce the time together. No matter what, strength was the first priority. He had to hurry to improve his cultivation. If he could reach the form synthesis stage and take the Yuan burst pill, although he could not say that he could defeat the perverted old lady, at least he could save his life. However, at this stage of cultivation, every increase in level would consume a lot of top-grade spirit stones. He calculated that he needed at least 100,000 top-grade spirit stones to ensure that he could successfully break through to the late void refinement stage. Now that he refined a furnace of pills, excluding the cost, he could save hundreds of top-grade spirit stones. It seemed to be a lot, but he was still far from the final goal, so he had to hurry. The next morning, he ran to the alchemy room early. The little witch and Zhao Xingyue went to class as usual. After a busy day in the alchemy room, Qin Haodong came out to catch his breath in the evening. At this time, Zhao Xingyue and the little witch were still in class. Luo Dongqing pushed the door open and walked in. After entering the door, she stopped 2 or 3 meters away and looked at Qin Haodong from head to toe with a rather strange expression. Qin Haodong touched his face and looked in the mirror. He did not find anything wrong, so he said in surprise, What are you looking at? Don't you recognize me? Luo Dongqing curled her lips and said, I thought you were a good guy and wanted you to be my grandson-in-law, but I didn't expect you to have such a heavy taste. You actually have a special hobby. As he spoke, he took 2 steps back, as if he did not dare to be too close. Qin Haodong suddenly understood what was going on. It seemed that the old lady did not keep his secret at all and told Luo Dongqing. Sure enough, all kinds of women had a heart of gossip. When he saw Luo Dongqing's expression, he was even angrier. What do you mean by avoiding me? Even if I like men, will I do something to an old guy like you? He said angrily, Old man, I have helped you a lot these days, but look at your wife. She took me away directly from here. How can you repay kindness with enmity? Can't you control your wife? Luo Dongqing laughed and said, My wife is very good. Why should I control her? Qin Haodong glanced at him. It was obvious that he was a henpecked man, and his cultivation was so much lower than hers. Even if he wanted to control him, he could not. Forget it, you can do whatever you want. Just don't come to me in the future. Luo Dongqing said, Little Qin, the gift you gave me yesterday was also good. My wife's attitude towards me is better. Do you have any good things? Give me some more. Qin Haodong was so angry that he would not help him. He said angrily, No, I have nothing. Chapter 893. Luo Dongqing said, Little Qin, you've helped me twice. The effect is very good. You can't ignore me. The effect is good. I almost became a eunuch. I don't want to care about your stinky business. Qin Haodong directly turned his head and ignored the old man. Luo Dongqing was completely flustered and quickly cried, Little Qin, tell me quickly, what should I do next? Thinking of what happened last night, Qin Haodong became angrier and angrier. He said with annoyance, What else can I do? Just buy some seed drugs and use it on her, then just push her down. She's your wife anyway. Oh. I see. I'll listen to you. Luo Dongqing turned around and left. Qin Haodong was just saying that out of spite, but when he came to his senses, Luo Dongqing had disappeared. Holy sh*t, did the old man really do what he said? He was really speechless. The old man's cultivation was quite high, but why was his EQ so low? Couldn't he tell which was true and which was false? If he really did that, what would the perverted old woman's reaction be? Would she directly kill him? Just as he was worried, Zhao Xingyue and the little witch came in from outside. What made Qin Haodong even more depressed was that the way they looked at him changed as soon as they entered the door. It was obvious that they were looking at him strangely. The old lady must have told the little witch about it, and then the little witch told Zhao Xingyue. Although he didn't see it, he could guess this kind of thing with his toes. Little brother, I didn't know that you have a special hobby. No wonder you didn't have any reaction after seeing Sister Yun. Zhao Xingyue said in a low voice, Brother Qin, this can't be true, can it? Qin Haodong couldn't explain it. Finally, he simply said, It's true, it's true. He now felt that it was good to let everyone think that he liked men, which would save him a lot of trouble in the future. But then the little witch's words almost made him collapse. Since you don't like women, it means that there are now 3 women in our dormitory. Can I not wear clothes at night? After dinner, Qin Haodong did alchemy very late and returned to the room. The 2 girls had already fallen asleep, so he sneaked to his bed and prepared to sleep. But not long after he got into bed, a fragrant wind suddenly blew over, and a hot body burrowed into his bed. Qin Haodong was startled. He took a closer look and found that it was the little devil girl. At this time, although she was not naked, she was only wearing the spaghetti strap pajamas, and she was still tightly pressed against his arms. This feeling of warm jade in his arms immediately made him have a reaction. He said helplessly, What are you doing here? Nothing, I just want to see if you're lying. As the little lass spoke, she wrapped her arms around his neck and rubbed her elastic body against his chest like a snake. Then, she kissed him on the cheek. Hey, you can't do that, Qin Haodong was really anxious. A man and a woman were alone in the middle of the night. Wasn't this torture? Although he said so, he had not been so close to a woman since he left Earth. Under the little witch's torment, his body suddenly reacted. The little witch smiled and reached out her hand. Then, she said with a blush, I know you're lying to my grandma. You don't like men at all. The little girl had already found substantial evidence, so he had to admit it even if he didn't want to. I'll tell you, but you can't tell your grandma. The little witch stuck out her tongue and said, Why? It's wrong to lie to people. Why did you lie to my grandma? Qin Haodong said, If I didn't say so, your grandma would force me to marry you. Isn't it good to marry me? I'm so beautiful to be your wife. Don't you want to? The little she-devil put her forehead on Qin Haodong's forehead and asked, her breath smelling like orchids. Qin Haodong felt hot inside. The little girl's temptation was too great. He quickly ran the green with genuine qi to control his impulse. He pushed the little witch away and said, This is not a matter of whether I want to or not. Anyway, I can't get married so early. The little witch said naughtily, I don't care. Anyway, I'll tell Grandma tomorrow. How dare you? Qin Haodong had an impulse to kill her. The little witch was not afraid at all. She said with a smile, Why not? Do you dare to eat me? Qin Haodong suddenly, his expression changed and he showed a playful smile. I don't dare to eat you, but you won't have anything delicious to eat in the future. If you dare to tell the news, don't expect to eat anything from me in the future. The little witch, who was not afraid of anything, was suddenly pinched. She quickly put her arms around Qin Haodong's neck and said, Little brother, don't worry. I promise I won't tell anyone. Go back to sleep. Qin Haodong finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the little girl was a foodie. Otherwise, he really didn't know how to deal with her. Then I'll go back. This is our secret. The little she-devil giggled and gave him another peck on the cheek. Then, she tiptoed back to the bed. Although she was gone, Qin Haodong still couldn't fall asleep. He was afraid that as soon as he fell asleep, the perverted old lady would rush in from outside. He spent the night in fear. What he worried about didn't happen. The next morning, Luo Dongqing walked in from outside with a happy face. After entering the door, he put his arm around Qin Haodong's shoulder and said excitedly, Little Qin, you're really good. Your method is really useful. I'm finally back home. After saying that, he laughed and turned to walk out of the door. Looking at his back, Qin Haodong was dumbfounded. How could this work? He just said it casually out of anger. Did it really work? This perverted old lady really couldn't be measured by common sense. In the following days, Qin Haodong became a lot more low-key. Except for going to the Alchemist Union to buy medicinal materials, he almost never went out. He had been immersed in refining pills in the alchemy room. For half a month, he had refined countless elixirs, and the top-grade spirit stones in his storage ring had slowly accumulated to more than 80,000. However, under his ruthless torment, the Alchemist Union was also saturated with pills. After all, it took time to digest and sell them. In desperation, Su Wujin could only tell him not to refine pills for the time being. The Alchemist Union had no money to buy them. Qin Haodong calculated that he was still short of 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. Tomorrow was the day of the freshman competition. It seemed that he could only go there to make a fortune. At dinner, the little witch said to him, Little brother, tomorrow is the day of the freshman competition. Sister Xingyue, if the three of us form a team, we will definitely be able to win the championship. Team? What do you mean? Qin Haodong had been immersed in alchemy recently. He didn't know much about the Black Tortoise Institute and didn't know much about the freshman competition. The little witch said, It's like this. During today's class, the school announced the rules for this year's freshman competition. It's different from the past. This time, we need to form a team of 3 and fight as a team. Zhao Xingyue said, I originally wanted to give up on this year's freshman competition, but I heard it's a team of 3. I'm not afraid if I'm with Big Brother Qin. Qin Haodong was speechless. No matter what, this girl was a mid-stage void refinement expert. She could be considered one of the top experts in the institute, but she had the strength of a tiger and the courage of a rabbit. She didn't dare to do anything. He said, Why is it a team of 3? Isn't it like this in the past? The little witch said, You asked the right person. I'm the only one who knows about this. Yesterday, I heard from my grandmother that traces of the Ghost King's sect have recently appeared in Black Tortoise Kingdom. Several students from other institutes have been killed while carrying out missions. In order to increase their strength and ensure the safety of their students, the major institutes in Black Tortoise Kingdom have issued such an order. Students must form teams of at least 3 people when leaving the institute. This is the fundamental reason why our institute changed the situation of the competition. However, to avoid panic, we haven't announced it to the public yet. Qin Haodong asked, what kind of organization is the Ghost King sect? Is it very scary? The little witch said, I just heard it from my grandparents. I don't know the specific situation, but from the name, it doesn't sound like a good person. Zhao Xingyue said, I know some news about the Ghost King sect. They are an extremely evil sect. The people in the sect improve their cultivation by absorbing the essence of warriors. This sect has disappeared under the joint suppression of the major sects in the past few years. I don't know why they suddenly jumped out and came to our Black Tortoise Kingdom. Qin Haodong asked, is this Ghost King sect very strong? Zhao Xingyue said, the Ghost King sect has many disciples. It is said that the Ghost King has reached the late Desheng stage. Last time, the sect masters of several major sects joined forces to attack him, but they failed to kill him. I didn't expect that he would make a comeback now. The little witch said in surprise, Sister Xingyue, how do you know all this? Zhao Xingyue's expression froze. She murmured, my father told me. He told me to run away as far as possible if I meet people from the Ghost King sect. Qin Haodong was a little curious about the girl's identity, but he would not ask since she did not want to tell him. After all, everyone had their own secrets, and he had more secrets than others. The next morning, the freshman competition of Black Tortoise College officially began. 1,000 new students came to the school's main field together to listen to the Vice Dean Luo Dongqing's speech. Qin Haodong felt that Luo Dongqing was much more energetic after not seeing her for half a month. It seemed that she was living a good life after returning to her wife's bed. After a speech, Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the competition. First of all, the new students whose cultivation was below the transcendent stage were not allowed to participate in the competition, and 2/3 of them were eliminated at once. Among the remaining students, everyone was free to form a team of 3. If they could not form a team themselves, the school would help them form a team. After the meeting, Qin Haodong returned to the class and found that everyone was looking at him strangely, especially the boys. They kept their distance from him for fear that he would molest them. He could not help but smile bitterly. It seemed that his reputation of liking men had spread throughout the school. This old lady was really harmful. At this time, Yun Xiang came over and said with a smile, brother-in-law, do you really like men? Qin Haodong glared at him and said in a low voice, so what if it is true? Aren't you afraid that I will burst your ass? Yun Xiang smiled and said, it doesn't matter. My life belongs to you, brother-in-law. You can take it as long as you like. Qin Haodong said, go away. Stay away from me. While they were talking and laughing, Mei Lin came in from outside. Chapter 894. Under Mei Lin's organization, their class was quickly divided into groups and the list was reported. The other classes were also very efficient. All the participants were counted in the morning. At 2:00 in the afternoon, nearly 400 contestants came to the training ground in groups of 3. The training ground was carefully built by the Black Tortoise Academy. It could accommodate thousands of people at the same time. The whole ground had been strengthened by formations and was extremely strong. The freshman competition was an annual event of the Black Tortoise Academy. At this moment, the training ground was full of spectators. Some of them were new students who had been eliminated, and some were old students who had come to watch the fun. Shui Pan and He Kaishan had arrived early. They stood side by side and looked at Qin Haodong, who was standing with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. Their eyes were filled with hatred. He Kaishan said, Brother Shui, this guy really dared to participate in the competition. It seems that our chance for revenge has come. Since leaving Qin Haodong's dormitory that day, Shui Pan had gone to Yun Xianxian several times, but he was rejected every time. In the past, Yun Xianxian hated him, at least on the surface. But now, she was not even interested in talking to him. This made Shui Pan very angry. He blamed everything on Qin Haodong. He said, "This time, I must destroy this guy's cultivation and kick him out of the Black Tortoise Academy." He Kaishan said, "I've already thought about it. We have to control the competition. We can let him enter the last stage, but we can't let him be too conspicuous." Shuepan said, "One more thing. We have to know ourselves and our enemy. We have to figure out his strength in advance." As the fourth master in the academy, he was very smart. Although he was full of hatred, he did not let it get to his head. He knew that only by thoroughly figuring out Qin Haodong's strength could he ensure the success of his plan. He Kaishan said, "Don't worry, Brother Shui. I've already arranged everything. According to your instructions, we bought the fortune pills sold by the Pharmacists' Union at a high price and promoted the cultivation of the people we arranged to the Void Refinement Realm." Shuepan smiled coldly. "Although the first level of the Void Refinement Realm is nothing, I don't know if this guy can handle 3 people at the first level of the Void Refinement Realm." Not far away from them, 2 extremely beautiful girls were whispering to each other. They were Fang Qiong and Yun Qianqian. After seeing Qin Haodong, a smile appeared on Fang Qiong's cold face. She said softly, "Senior brother, you will succeed." Yun Qianqian and Fang Qiong were best friends, so she chimed in, "I think so too. Dr. Qin's cultivation is so high that he will definitely be the champion of this competition." Fang Qiong nodded, and then her delicate face blushed. "Qian, do you think those rumors are true? What did you say?" Yun Qianqian naturally knew what her best friend was asking about, but she wanted to tease this goddess who had always been cold and aloof. Fang Qiong's face reddened even more. "It's about the rumors about my senior brother. They say that he likes men. Recently, Qin Haodong had not visited her. Coupled with the rumors in the academy, she had this question. Our ice goddess has always looked down on men. Why is she suddenly gossiping?" Yun Qianqian took Fang Qiong's hand and giggled. "Naughty girl, don't tell me you have fallen in love with Dr. Qin." Fang Qiong immediately retorted, "How dare you talk about me? I heard that someone publicly announced that he would marry no one but my senior brother." This time, it was Yun Qianqian's turn to be embarrassed. "I just wanted to get rid of that bastard Shuepan. Don't take it seriously." Fang Qiong whispered in her ear, "I heard that senior brother cured your illness. You two have been in close contact. Do you think he is that kind of person?" Yun Qianqian did not know whether her best friend meant it or not, but when she thought of the process of curing Qin Haodong, she suddenly blushed. In the end, she said in a voice as small as a mosquito, "I don't think Dr. Qin is that kind of person." At this time, a man and a woman walked over from afar. Their arrival immediately caused a stir in the crowd. "Look, Brother Shao is also here to watch the competition. He is the 3rd master in our academy. Shao Yulong is nothing. Didn't you see that Jinghong Fairy is here too? Jinghong Fairy never watches the competition in the past. Why is she here this year? Jinghong Fairy is the number 1 master in our academy. Is she going to participate in this year's hunting competition for old students? It's hard to say whether Jinghong Fairy is the number 1 master. She won and lost against the little she-devil in the competition. It's not clear who is number 1 and who is number 2. Amidst the discussion, the two walked to the outside of the training field and stood still. Shao Yulong was tall and handsome. His cultivation had reached the late stage of the Void Refinement Realm, which was higher than the average academy teacher. It was no wonder that he was the idol of thousands of girls. Jinghong Fairy, Murong Jinghong, was the number 1 master in most people's eyes. Her cultivation had reached the peak of the Void Refinement Realm, which was 1 level higher than Shao Yulong's. At the same time, she was also a peerless beauty. Although she was only wearing a black school uniform, it could not hide her beauty. Her waterfall-like long hair was tied into a ponytail, and she carried the startling sword on her back. She was beautiful and heroic at the same time. The two looked into the training field side by side. Murong Jinghong looked around and finally locked her eyes on Qin Haodong and the other two. Xiao Yulong had been pursuing Murong Jinghong, so his attention was always on her. Following his gaze, he saw the little she-devil holding Qin Haodong's arm. Jinghong, are you looking at Luo Hongying? Someone actually said that she is the #1 master in the academy. What a joke. She has been in the academy for 4 years, but she is still a freshman. How can she be compared to you? Murong Jinghong frowned slightly. Deep down, she did not like the way Xiao Yulong addressed her. The two of them had not reached that level of familiarity. Don't underestimate this little she-devil. Her summoning skills are very powerful. It's indeed a draw between us. It's hard to say who is more powerful. Xiao Yulong said fawningly, although the little she-devil fought to a draw with you, it was because of luck. Her summoning skills are too unreliable. Murong Jinghong did not argue with him anymore. Instead, he said, ever since I saw Luo Hongying, I have never seen her so close to a man. Xiao Yulong chuckled. A man? I heard that he is not a real man at all. He is just a guy who likes women. Maybe the little she-devil thinks that he is a good sister, so she is so close to him. Murong Jinghong said, I heard that he is this year's newcomer king. His strength is unfathomable. Xiao Yulong curled his lips and said with disdain, what newcomer king? He is just an alchemist who uses elixirs to forcibly improve his cultivation. People like us who practice martial arts can only reach the peak by single-mindedly focusing. For someone like him who is multitasking at such a young age, the height he can reach in the future is bound to be limited. No matter what, he cannot be compared to you and me. Murong Jinghong said, I think you are still underestimating this person. As far as I know, no one knows what height his cultivation has reached. Height? At best, he is at the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Murong Jinghong shook his head. Have you ever seen a 6th-grade alchemist at the late stage of the divine transformation realm? This, Xiao Yulong had always been arrogant. After hearing rumors that Qin Haodong liked men, he sneered at the newcomer king and looked down on him from the bottom of his heart. Even if he is a 6th-grade alchemist, he is at best at the early stage of the void refinement realm. Murong Jinghong said, first of all, it is very commendable for him to reach the early stage of the void refinement realm at this age. Moreover, he made the Dong brothers suffer one after another and was eventually expelled from the Black Tortoise Academy. Shui Pan and He Kai Shan suffered a great loss in his hands. Do you think such a person can only be at the early stage of the void refinement realm? Xiao Yulong curled his lips and said, I have also heard about them. It is just that this kid is too lucky to have Dean Luo behind him. I have never believed in luck. Without the support of strength, it is useless no matter how much luck you have. Murong Jinghong said, I don't know if you have noticed, but whether it is Dong Zhenhai, He Kai Shan, or Shui Pan, none of them were able to fight with Qin Haodong and were then beaten up without knowing it. In other words, they suffered one after another, but until now, they still haven't figured out the bottom line of Qin Haodong's cultivation. Don't you think this is interesting? This, Xiao Yulong thought about it carefully and it did seem to be the case. Ever since Qin Haodong entered the Black Tortoise Academy, he had never been defeated by anyone. There was not even a tie with him. After thinking about it, he said, I still think this kid is too lucky. The freshman competition is coming up soon. I want to see how long he can hide. When the time comes, we will naturally be able to see the depth of his cultivation. Murong Jinghong smiled. In short, I think he is an interesting person. If he can win the first place in the freshman competition, I am willing to enter the hunting competition to play with him. Xiao Yulong was shocked. Murong Jinghong was known as the Jinghong Fairy and had an otherworldly aura. Aside from cultivating, she rarely participated in the academy's activities. Today, she was actually willing to participate in the hunting competition for that kid. Then, a hint of joy rose in his heart. He had to participate in the freshman hunting competition. When the time came, he could ruthlessly step on Qin Haodong and show his elegance to the Jingheng Ferry. Before the freshman competition began, Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the first match. Everyone would participate in a team battle in the training field until there were 48 people left. At the same time, he announced that the first place of the freshman competition would receive 20,000 top-grade spirit stones as a reward. Then, the competition officially began. After he gave the order, all the contestants in the training field immediately became nervous. Every team had 3 people standing back to back, vigilantly staring at their opponents. The only exception was the team of Qin Haodong, the Little Witch, and Zhao Xingyue. Before the competition began, everyone had already received a lot of information. They knew that among the 3 people in front of them, one was the newcomer king, and the other was the Little Witch, one of the top 10 experts in the academy. In the face of such a powerful combination, no team was willing to go up and cause trouble. Anyway, there were 48 people in the final competition, so they did not care about the 3 people in front of them. Therefore, after the competition began, everyone retreated, immediately leaving a hollow circle with the 3 of them as the center. Qin Haodong was very satisfied with this situation. For him, it was best to avoid trouble. He waved his hand to the contestants around him. Everyone, do as you please. As long as you don't cause trouble for me, I promise I won't cause trouble for you. After saying that, he sat on the ground and took out an oven from his storage ring. Chapter 895. Luo Dongqing and the other school leaders were sitting in the stands. When they saw Qin Haodong take out the oven, they didn't know what it was. They thought to themselves, what is this guy going to do? Xiao Jian sneered, it seems that this guy is nervous. He took out his magic weapon as soon as he came up. According to the rules of the competition, everyone was free to use weapons and magic weapons as long as no one was killed. Murong Jingheng frowned. What kind of magic weapon was this? He had never seen it before. They didn't know what it was, and the contestants on the stage didn't know what kind of magic weapon it was. Seeing him suddenly take out such a big thing, they were nervous and stepped back. At this moment, some people began to take action, taking the opportunity to attack. Monkey steals peach, fishing for the moon. For a moment, the whole martial arts field was in chaos. However, these people had their own sense of propriety. They all kept a distance from Qin Haodong and the other 2. No one dared to take a step closer. After all, most of them were in the divine transformation realm. They would not provoke these people unless they had to. The little witch came to Qin Haodong and asked curiously, "Little brother, what are you going to do?" Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Anyway, it's boring to stay here. Let's make something delicious." Okay. I love delicious food. The little witch couldn't help but stick out her tongue and lick her delicate red lips, swallowing hard. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Qin Haodong took out the lamb skewers and chicken wings that he had prepared earlier from the storage ring and put them on the oven. Then he used Dan fire to ignite the charcoal in the oven. What is this guy doing? Isn't this the competition site? Why is he grilling chicken wings? The one who spoke was another vice president sitting next to Luo Dongqing, Hai Jingming. Luo Dongqing said, "Who cares? Anyway, our rules don't prohibit barbecue. He can do whatever he wants." Fang Qiong'er was surprised at first, then she smelled the aroma of barbecue. She couldn't help but sniff and said, "It smells so good." Yun Xianxian said, "Dr. Qin's cooking is as good as his medical skills. I will never forget his cooking for the rest of my life. It looks really delicious." Fang Qiong'er stared at the golden chicken wings in Qin Haodong's hand and couldn't help but swallow. She didn't look like the ice goddess at all. If it wasn't for the fact that they were in the middle of a competition and forbade others from entering the arena, she would have already rushed in. This won't do. Senior brother actually has such good culinary skills. When I have time, I must go to his place and have a feast. Yun Xianxian chimed in, "I'll go too." Seeing the scene in front of him, Xiao Yulong couldn't help but ridicule, this guy is really not serious. Everyone else is competing, but he actually roasted chicken wings. Murong Jinghong said, haven't you realized that this is also a manifestation of strength? If it was someone else, would they have the chance to sit there and leisurely roast their wings? Xiao Yulong was speechless for a while. This was indeed the case. Qin Haodong's team of 3 completely relied on their strength to deter other opponents. No one dared to come over to harass them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the time to barbecue skewers. While the others on the stage were fighting fiercely, the 3 of them gathered around the oven, and the 2 little girls kept swallowing their saliva. Little brother, are you done roasting them? I'm dying of hunger. The little she-devil looked at the golden chicken wing and said, all right, this is for you. Qin Haodong gave 2 roasted chicken wings to Zhao Xingyue and the little she-devil each. Then, he began to roast the meat skewers, and the aroma in the field became more and more intense. At this moment, a student who had been sent flying fell from the air. Get lost, don't disturb me while I'm eating the roasted wings. The little she-devil waved her hand impatiently and directly sent the person flying back. Even without summoning, she was still an expert in the late stage of soul formation. These ordinary students would never be able to compare to her. After driving the person away, the little she-devil picked up the chicken wing and ate it. It smells so good, it really smells so good. Little brother, your culinary skills are really good. It tastes even better with this. Qin Haodong said as he took out a can of beer and threw it to her. He also casually threw a can of Sprite to Zhao Xingyue, and then he ate the skewers while drinking the beer. What are they eating? It looks very good. What kind of wine are they drinking? The color looks so beautiful, and it smells so good. Originally, everyone was here to watch the freshman competition, but in the end, everyone's attention was attracted by Qin Haodong and the others. Everyone kept swallowing their saliva as they smelled the roasted meat, trying to guess what they were drinking. Although the freshman competition was not over yet, they had already become the focus of the whole competition. Luo Dongqing said bitterly, this brat, he had such delicious food but didn't take it out to entertain me. And this wine, it smells so good. While the others were in full swing, Qin Haodong and the others were eating and drinking leisurely. About an hour later, the competition finally ended. There were only 16 groups and 48 participants left on the field. However, the others were either sweating or covered in injuries. Only Qin Haodong and the others were eating and drinking leisurely. Seeing that the competition was over, they were almost done eating and drinking. They put away their things again and waited for the referee to announce the next round. Seeing that they were eating and drinking to their heart's content, the other team members were very envious. They were also participating in the competition, but they were fighting to the death while the others were drinking and eating skewers. Why was there such a big gap between them? The next round of the competition entered the group knockout stage. The 16 groups had to draw lots to fight each other, and the losers would be directly eliminated. However, since they had already entered the top 16, everyone would receive a bonus. As one of the top academies on the Lingwu continent, the Black Tortoise Academy was very capable of organizing competitions. After drawing lots, the teams were immediately divided into 8 arenas to enter the next round of the competition. Those who could survive in the chaotic battle were all teams with a certain level of strength. The 3 members who were in the same group as Qin Haodong and the others had all reached the late stage of the divine transformation realm. When Qin Haodong first entered the academy, he became the newcomer king with his cultivation in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. Now, there were as many as 3 of them. It could be seen that these people's cultivation had greatly improved after entering the academy for a month. The leader of the other team was called Duan Balian. Not only was this guy's cultivation high, but he was also very skilled. After getting on the stage, he stared at Qin Haodong and said, "Kid, I heard that you're this year's newcomer king. I want to see how strong you are. With your mediocre skills, you still have the nerve to ask my little brother to fight." The little witch glanced at the three of them with disdain. She held the light blue crystal ball in her palm, and the gate of life slowly opened in the hexagram. In terms of fame, the little witch was definitely the most famous in the Black Tortoise Academy. She was even more famous than her grandfather, Luo Dongqing. Every year during the freshman competition, many students came to watch the competition because of her. A powerful senior student had actually been unable to advance for 4 years in a row. This was something to watch. Coupled with the little witch's lowly appearance and devilish figure, she also attracted countless male students. The thing that interested everyone the most was her gate of life. The uncertain summoning ability was also one of the highlights, and there was always suspense. Therefore, when her gate of life opened, everyone's eyes focused on it, looking forward to seeing what kind of monster this little witch could summon. "Come on out, my little baby." Following the little witch's call, a few black shadows rushed out of the gate of life like the wind. The summoned monster landed on the ground. It looked like it was the size of a dog, but its eyes were bloodthirsty, and its mouth revealed deep white teeth. Gale wolves. Oh my god, the little witch actually summoned 5 gale wolves at once. Gale wolves are 6th rank monsters. Even an expert in the void refinement realm wouldn't be able to handle 5 of them at once. After seeing the 5 gale wolves, everyone had already guessed the result of the competition. He Kaishan fiercely stomped his feet and cursed, "Damn it, she actually summoned these 5 things." Murong Jinghong said, "It seems that Qin Haodong won't be needed in this round." Sure enough, when Duan Balian and the other 2 people saw the 5 gale wolves, they immediately turned pale with fright. Generally, a 6th rank monster was equivalent to an expert in the void refinement realm. The 3 of them were only in the late divine transformation realm, so they probably couldn't even block 1 gale wolf, let alone the 5 monsters in front of them. Seeing that the fierce gale wolves were about to pounce on them, Duan Balian hurriedly shouted, "I give up. We give up this round." After saying that, the 3 of them were afraid that the little witch wouldn't be able to stop the 5 monsters in time, so they turned around and jumped off the ring. You actually dared to challenge little big brother with that kind of ability." The little witch giggled and then sent the 5 gale wolves back into the gate of life. The referee walked into the ring and announced that Qin Haodong's team had won this round. Fang Qiunger said, "Senior brother is really amazing. He didn't even need to do anything to win this round." Yun Xian smiled and said, "Is this the legendary beauty in the eye of the beholder?" It was the little witch who defeated her opponent. Dr. Qin didn't even make a move. How could he tell that he was amazing? Fang Qiunger glared at her and said, "It's amazing to be able to conquer the little witch, isn't it? Other than senior brother, who else can make the little witch obedient?" Yun Xian nodded and said, "You're right. I've never seen Luo Hongying so obedient in all these years." Although Qin Haodong didn't make a move from beginning to end, he had become the focus of the audience. Although the competition was divided into 8 rings, most people's eyes were focused on their group. After a while, the other 7 matches had ended and the top 8 of this round of the newcomer competition were born. After drawing lots again, Qin Haodong and the other 2 walked into the ring again. Seeing the 3 opponents standing in the ring, Qin Haodong couldn't help but smile. It seemed that he didn't have to fight this time. The leader of the 3 people who had drawn lots in this round was Yun Xiang. After obtaining a fortune pill from Qin Haodong last time, Yun Xiang's cultivation had improved from the middle stage of the divine transformation realm to the late stage. In addition, his 2 opponents in the same group were also very strong, so he stood out in this competition and entered the top 8. After seeing Qin Haodong, Yun Xiang smiled and said, "Brother-in-law, I originally wanted to enter the top 4, but I didn't expect to meet you here. Well, I admit defeat. Remember to owe me a favor and treat me and my sister to a meal." He was the leader of the 3 people, so he greeted the other 2 and then said to the referee next to him, "We admit defeat this round." Suddenly, there was an uproar. Everyone was shocked not only by Yun Xiang's surrender, but also by the way he addressed Qin Haodong. "Brother-in-law, what do you mean? Who is Yun Xiang calling brother-in-law? Is there something wrong with your head? 2 of the 3 people in front of him are women. Who do you think he called brother-in-law? Isn't Yun Xiang Yun Qianqian's brother? If he calls Yun Qianqian brother-in-law, doesn't that mean Yun Qianqian is Qin Haodong's woman? Chapter 896. Seeing the commotion caused by Yun Xiang calling him brother-in-law, Xue Pan scolded him fiercely, "Bastard! Does this guy have a brain? Doesn't he know that Qin Haodong doesn't like women? How dare he call him brother-in-law in public?" He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, I think you'd better be careful. Whether this guy likes men or women, it's all hearsay. No one knows for sure. If he really takes Yun Qianqian away, it'll be too late for you to regret it." Xue Pan said fiercely, "We can't give him this chance no matter what. We must drive him out of the Black Tortoise Academy." On the other side, Xiao Yulong said angrily, "Shameless. How dare he just admit defeat?" Murong Jinghong looked indifferent. "Then what do you think they should do?" Xiao Yulong said, "At least let's see what kind of demon the little witch can summon." Murong Jinghong said, "Even if the little demoness can't summon anything, the 3 of them won't be a match for the other party. Why make things difficult for themselves? When the time comes, it'll be embarrassing. Besides, the other party has a special relationship." Xiao Yulong was speechless for a moment. He agreed with this reasoning, but he was quite angry. The more Murong Jinghong thought highly of Qin Haodong, the more uncomfortable he felt. Fang Qiong'er pulled Yun Qianqian and said, "What's going on? Why does your brother call my senior brother brother-in-law?" Yun Qianqian said with her cheeks flushed, "Don't you know Yun Xiang? You've never been careful with your mouth, always spouting nonsense." Fang Qiong'er said, "You're lying to me. Without your permission, I don't believe that guy would dare to call a man brother-in-law in public. It's obvious that you're willing." She originally thought that Yun Qianqian would refute her statement, but Yun Qianqian said, "Dr. Qin saved Yun Xiang and my life. As long as he's willing, I'll agree." In the arena, the referee announced that Qin Haodong's team won again. They were the first to finish the previous 8 matches. This time, they were the first to enter the top 4 of the freshman competition. After the match on the other side, they drew lots again. Qin Haodong and the other 2 stepped into the arena again and began the semi-finals. This time, their opponents were a group of 2 men and 1 woman, and their leader was a tall and thin young man who was at the early spatial tempering stage. His 2 companions had also reached the late stage of the divine transformation realm. It could be said that this was the strongest opponent they had encountered so far in the competition. Qin Haodong still looked calm. Although this person had reached the early stage of the void training realm, his aura was unstable. It seemed that he had just broken through. It was likely that he had forcibly used elixirs to break through for this competition. The tall, thin man was called Wu Jingdong. He was in the middle stage of the divine transformation realm when he first entered the school. However, he came from a well-off family. In order to win this competition, he had taken a soul-transforming pill and a void-breaking pill in succession for a month, and only then did he step into the early stage of the qi-refining realm. "Qin, I have to say that you're pretty lucky. You actually made it to the semi-finals. But when it comes to me, you won't be so lucky. Just wait to get off the stage." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "I think I rely more on strength, and it has nothing to do with luck." He had learned from the little witch that according to the rules of the Black Tortoise Academy, the freshman competition was not the end, it was only the beginning. After winning the competition, he would have to face the elite older students of the academy. Therefore, he did not want to reveal too much of his strength. It was good enough as long as he could win the competition easily. Wu Jingdong sneered and said, "You talk big. If you have the guts, then fight me with real knives and spears. Let me see how strong you are. Don't always hide behind a woman and enjoy the fruits of others' labor." He looked very imposing, but deep down, he was also afraid of the little witch's summoning skill. If she really did summon 5 more gale wolves, then the three of them would have no choice but to admit defeat on the spot. Qin Haodong smiled and did not say anything. He turned his head and whispered a few words in the ears of the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. At that moment, the referee called out, "Everyone is ready. The competition begins." Seeing that the little witch did not take out her crystal ball to use her summoning skill, Wu Jingdong was secretly delighted. It seemed that his provocation worked. As long as Qin Haodong fought him, he would have a chance of winning. At that moment, a powerful force suddenly erupted from Zhao Xingyue's body. She was in the middle stage of the void refinement realm. Everyone's attention had been focused on Qin Haodong and the little witch. They had subconsciously ignored the timid and beautiful woman, thinking that she was only in the late stage of the divine transformation realm. In fact, Zhao Xingyue would not have dared to fight these people. However, with Qin Haodong's encouragement, she was able to unleash her aura. Wu Jingdong's attention had been focused on Qin Haodong the whole time. He was shocked by the sudden aura and took a few steps back. At this moment, the little witch took advantage of the moment when the three of them were distracted and struck with lightning speed. Wu Jingdong bore the brunt of the attack. Before he could come to his senses, the little witch had already slapped him out of the ring. The other two companions in the late stage of the divine transformation realm were even more vulnerable under the powerful aura of someone in the middle stage of the void refinement realm. They were thrown out of the ring without any room for resistance. Under everyone's shocked eyes, it only took Qin Haodong's team a few seconds to win the game again. The people watching below the ring could not calm down. Up until now, only one person from the team of three had made a move and directly made it to the finals. This situation had never occurred before the game. Although everyone knew that Qin Haodong's team was the strongest, they did not expect it to be this strong. A look of disdain flashed in Xiao Yulong's eyes. "What kind of man are you to hide behind a woman all the time?" Murong Jinghong said, "I don't think so. I think he is the strongest among the three of them. He was able to make the little witch obedient and come up with such a detailed battle plan in such a short time. It can be seen that his mind is not simple." Seeing that his goddess gave Qin Haodong such a high evaluation, Xiao Yulong said sourly, "Who knows what's going on? Maybe he is best at deceiving women with sweet words." Murong Jinghong's expression changed, but he did not speak again. Fang Qiong shouted excitedly, "That's great. Senior brother has made it to the finals." Yun Xianxian said, "Dr. Qin is really powerful. He didn't even need to do anything himself, but he has already made it to the finals." He Kaishan and Xue Pan had been paying attention to the two women's movements. Seeing them cheering for Qin Haodong, the killing intent in their eyes became even stronger. Xue Pan scolded fiercely, "This cunning guy. I haven't seen him make a move yet." He Kaishan said, "Brother Xue, don't worry. Our people will fight with them in the finals soon. I don't believe that he will not make a move against three masters in the void training realm." On the stand, Hai Jingming said to Luo Dongqing, "Old Luo, this is really amazing. Who is that young man? Who can make Honging so obedient?" Luo Dongqing said, "This year's freshman is a very interesting little guy. If I'm right, this year's freshman competition will be their champion." Hai Jingming said, "Can't you see? The three people on the other side are also very powerful. They have been winning all the time. Who will be the champion in the end? Let's see what kind of demon beast Honging can summon." Luo Dongqing shook her head and said, "You still underestimate that kid. Don't look down on him because he hasn't made a move yet. His strength is absolutely powerful." Amidst the many discussions, Qin Haodong's trio and their opponents walked onto the arena of the finals at the same time. The three people on the opposite side were called Zhang Lei, Zhao Kai, and Gao Haisheng. These three people were also children of big families. They grew up with Xue Pan and followed his lead in everything. This time, in order to probe Qin Haodong's strength, Xue Pan notified the three in advance and bought them Creation Pill and Void Breaking Pill at a high price. In just a month, the three people were promoted to the early stage of the Void Training Realm. Qin Haodong sighed one easily, while Gao Haixing's trio was also like a hot knife cutting through butter, almost crushing their opponents to enter the finals. After going on the stage, the three people simultaneously burst out the aura belonging to Void Training Realm powerhouses, wanting to completely crush their opponents with their power. Heavens, all three of them are Void Training Realm experts. This seems to have never happened in the history of the freshman competition. I originally thought that the little witch would be able to win the championship, but now it seems that there is suspense. Hearing the discussions around him, Shui Pan's face was full of pride. Qin boy, let's see how deep you are this time. He Kaishan cautiously said, Brother Shui, we'd better be careful. After all, the little witch is still on the stage. This girl is like a time bomb. Who knows what she will summon? Shui Pan said, what you said makes sense. Send a signal to the three of them now and tell them to hurry up and attack. Don't give the little witch a chance to open the living spirit gate. While the two of them were talking, before they could send the signal, they saw Qin Haodong stride in front of Gao Haixing's trio. This round, I will deal with the three of you. Do you want to come together or one by one? He Kaishan said in surprise, Brother Shui, why has this kid changed? He wants to fight three people alone? Can he really do it? Shui Pan said, this bastard finally stopped being a coward. But at this moment, his expression suddenly changed. Not good, we've been tricked. He's buying time for the little witch. Just as Qin Haodong stepped forward, the little witch had already taken out the crystal ball and quickly opened the living spirit gate. Before Gao Haixing could come back to his senses, Qin Haodong said with a smile, it seems that the three of you don't want to fight with me. Then I'll go back. With that, he turned around and ran behind the little witch, looking at the three people in front of him with a smile. Gao Haixing also realized that he had been tricked. He shouted to the two people behind him, everyone, let's attack together. But at this moment, the living spirit gate had completely opened. After a violent tremor, a silver octopus instantly rushed out from inside. This is a 7th grade magical beast, a silver-clawed octopus. Oh my god, what's the point of fighting? Not to mention 3 early-stage Void Training Realm cultivators, even 30 of them won't be a match for a 7th grade magical beast. That kid is really cunning. It turns out that he didn't want to fight at all, but was buying time. Facing the mountain-like silver-clawed octopus in front of them, Gao Haixing and the other two were completely dumbfounded. They were somewhat unwilling to admit defeat like this, but if they were to fight, how could they be a match for the silver-clawed octopus? Just when they were stunned, the silver-clawed octopus had already taken the initiative to attack. As a 7th-rank monstrous beast, its strength was frighteningly strong. 3 tentacles that were several tens of feet long shot out like lightning, instantly wrapping around the 3 people. The attacks of the 3 people landed on the tentacles were no different from scratching an itch, not having the slightest effect. Seeing that they were about to be thrown into the bloody mouth, Gao Haixing and the other 2 immediately shouted, "Help, I admit defeat." Chapter 897. Refusing a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. The little she-devil giggled and snapped her fingers at the silver-clawed octopus. Okay, let them go and go back. The summoner was the king of the summoned beasts. The silver-clawed octopus unwillingly put down the 3 people and instantly retreated to the living spirit gate. Holy sh*t, that kid didn't even make a move and he won the championship. That kid is too cunning, I'm not convinced. I can see that the so-called newcomer king is bullshit. He doesn't even have the courage to fight. In the end, he still has to rely on the little she-devil. Qin Haodong didn't care about the discussions around him. Anyway, today's strategy was very successful. He won the championship while preserving his strength. That bastard, our preparations were all in vain. Looking at Qin Haodong on the stage, Shui Pan was so angry that his eyes were about to spit fire, but he couldn't do anything. He Kaishan said, "Boss Shui, don't worry. The hunting competition is about to begin. I don't believe we can't deal with this kid by then." Xiao Yulong said, "This kid is too shameless. He has been hiding behind a woman and won the championship without even moving a finger. He has lost all the face of a man. Murong Jinghong's mouth curved into a bright smile. I don't think so. I think he is an interesting man. Seeing that the woman he liked had a better and better impression of Qin Haodong, Xiao Yulong secretly clenched his teeth. He would teach this toy boy a lesson during the hunting competition. He would let him see what a real man was and what a real strong person was. No matter what the audience thought, the competition went on as usual. The referee announced that Qin Haodong and the other two were the champions of the newcomer competition. Then, Luo Dongqing went to the podium again and began to speak to the students. After a summary of the competition, according to the rules before the competition, all the students who entered the group stage were rewarded. The champion received 20,000 top-grade spirit stones, the runner-up received 15,000 top-grade spirit stones, and the third place received 10,000 top-grade spirit stones. Qin Haodong had obtained 20,000 best-grade spirit stones. Together with the 80,000 he had earned from selling elixirs, he had 100,000 best-grade spirit stones. He could try to break through. However, at this moment, Luo Dongqing, who was on the stage, spoke again. Students, this money is not yours for now. We are about to enter the old students' hunting competition. They will make a move to snatch the spirit stones from you. You must use your own strength to defend your rewards. Following that, the freshman tournament entered the veteran student hunting segment. Luo Dongqing announced the rules of the hunting competition. Firstly, during the hunting competition, the safety of the students must be ensured. It's fine to injure others, but no one is allowed to take their lives. Otherwise, they will be expelled from the Black Tortoise Institute. Secondly, in the process of the hunting competition, every team was a hunter and a prey at the same time. You can snatch top-quality spirit stones from any group of students, but you can only snatch half at a time. Violators will be disqualified from the competition, and all the top-quality spirit stones will be confiscated. Thirdly, the hunting competition will be held in the Nightmare Grand Canyon for 24 hours. All participants must cross the Nightmare Grand Canyon within 24 hours and reach the exit on the other side. Otherwise, they will be regarded as the loser and all the top-quality spirit stones will be confiscated. After the rules were announced, the Black Tortoise Institute organized the final 48 new students and the 30 old students to go to the Nightmare Grand Canyon. The canyon was not far from the Black Tortoise Institute. It was shaped like a spindle and was previously called the Spindle Canyon. Later, because of the old students' hunting competition, it became a nightmare for the new students, so it was renamed to the Nightmare Grand Canyon. According to the Institute's rules, the new students had to enter the Nightmare Grand Canyon 10 minutes before the competition. When Luo Dongqing gave the order, the new students who won rushed into the Nightmare Grand Canyon. Each of them treasured the top-quality spirit stones in their hands and did not want them to be snatched by others. They wanted to cross the canyon and reach the exit on the other side as soon as possible. The only ones who were different were Qin Haodong's group of 3. He turned around and looked at the old students who were glaring at him. Like them, the old students who participated in the hunting competition were also in groups of 3. Apart from the little she-devil and Dong Junhai, who had been expelled from the institute, the top 10 experts of the institute were all in the group. However, the Black Tortoise Institute did not want the gap in strength to be too big, so they asked the top 10 old students to be in groups of 2, accompanied by one other student. The most eye-catching group was the group of Murong Jinghong and Xiao Yulong. The two of them were already very strong, and now they were even stronger than before. At the same time, they were accompanied by an old student who was in the early stages of the void refinement realm. This kind of strength was absolutely daunting to anyone who saw it. Behind them was the group of Fang Qiong, and Yun Xianxian, followed by the group of Xue Pan and He Kaishan. Each of these groups was also accompanied by a strong old student. In fourth place were the 3 people that Qin Haodong was not familiar with. After the little she-devil secretly introduced them, he found out that 2 of them were Jiang Qingzhou, who was ranked 5th among the top 10 experts, and Song Junyu, who was ranked 8th. The remaining 6 groups were slightly weaker, but each group also had an expert who had reached the void refinement realm. Seeing Qin Haodong look in his direction, Shui Pan said fiercely, "Kid, no one can protect you in the hunting competition. Just wait for me to hand over all your spirit stones." He and He Kai-shan had already secretly discussed it. Although the institute stipulated that only half of the spirit stones could be taken at a time, there was no limit to the number of times. When the time came, the two groups would not take any spirit stones, but would specifically target Qin Haodong. Not only would they rob him until he collapsed, but they would also destroy his cultivation at the same time. In the face of this blatant threat, Qin Haodong only smiled slightly. "I have plenty of spirit stones. Come and take them if you can." What the hell, who is this kid? How dare he provoke Shui Pan and He Kai-shan? This time he is doomed. I guess this kid must be relying on the little she-devil, that's why he dared to challenge Shui Pan. But he has never thought that the little she-devil's summoning technique can't be used all the time. If he encounters an unreliable situation, he will be in trouble. Does he really think he is so great just because he is the champion of the freshman competition? Freshmen are just freshmen. There is no way he can be compared to the top 10 experts in the institute. This kid is dead meat. The surrounding students were all engaged in heated discussions. The senior students participating in this year's freshman competition were extremely grand, and even the Jinghong fairy, Murong Jinghong, who usually didn't participate in such activities, was here. This instantly ignited everyone's excitement. Although the institute has increased the rewards this time, this year's freshmen are going to be miserable. Even Murong Jinghong fairy is participating in the freshman competition. I bet they won't even have their underwear left. You are right. So what if the rewards are higher? In the end, they will all be theirs. Qin Haodong ignored the discussions around him. He waved his hand at Fang Qiong, and Yun Xianxian, who were looking at him warmly. Then, the three of them entered the Nightmare Grand Canyon. This was the little she-devil's fourth time participating in the freshman competition, so she was familiar with the area. She led the three of them straight into the canyon. Looking at the primeval forest that covered the sky, Zhao Xingyue grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly and asked nervously, "We have already won the championship. Why are there still people coming to rob us of our top-grade spirit stones?" The little she-devil said, "This is a strategy that the Black Tortoise Institute uses to train students. Through this method, they can let the new students know the gap between them and the old students, so that they can work hard and improve their cultivation. Why is there a rule that only half of the top-grade spirit stones can be robbed each time? The purpose is to give everyone more opportunities to fight, instead of being eliminated in one go. At the same time, it is also a test for the old students. How do you think the top 10 experts in the institute are ranked? They are ranked according to the number of top-grade spirit stones they have obtained after the annual hunting competition." Zhao Xingyue nodded. She understood the reason, but she was still a little nervous. Qin Haodong said, "That is to say, the ranking of the top 10 experts is old news from a year ago, so it is not accurate?" The little she-devil said, "According to the last ranking, Yun Xianxian was ranked 7th, and Fang Qiong, was ranked 9th, but they should not be in that position now. Their cultivation levels have been improved by you, so their rankings should be higher. Similarly, the others should also have their own improvements, so after the hunting competition every year, there will be a big change in the institute's top 10 experts. Some newcomers will enter the top 10, and some original experts will fall out of the rankings. But Murong Jinghong is really strong, and no one can shake her ranking." Zhao Xingyue said, "Brother Qin, let's go quickly, okay? Or we can fly directly to the exit of the canyon." Normally, with the flying speed of cultivators in the void training realm, they could fly over the canyon in less than half an hour. The little she-devil said, "Sister Xingyue, you think too much. This canyon is 100 miles long and 30 miles wide. The whole canyon has been strengthened by the Institute's formation. No one can fly here, so they can only walk step by step." Zhao Xingyue said nervously, "What should we do? When those people catch up with us, will our spirit stones be taken away by them?" Qin Haodong said speechlessly, Xingyue, you're an expert at the middle stage of the void training realm. Can't you be more courageous? Why should our spirit stones be taken away by them? But I'm afraid. I don't dare to fight them. The little she-devil said, what's there to be afraid of? You've seen the rules of the Institute. You're only allowed to hurt people here, and you're not allowed to kill people. What are you afraid of? Zhao Xingyue lowered her head and said, I'm just afraid. Qin Haodong was speechless. During this period of time, he had tried many ways to improve Zhao Xingyue's courage. It was easy to improve cultivation, but it was too difficult to improve courage. The little girl was still so timid. He said, don't worry. I'm here. Nothing will happen. You just need to listen to my arrangements. Zhao Xingyue also felt a little embarrassed and nodded. I know, Brother Qin. I'll listen to you. After that, she grabbed Qin Haodong's arm tightly again, for fear that he would run away if she let go. Qin Haodong frowned. It seemed that he really needed to make a good plan this time. Of his two teammates, one was extremely unreliable. He might summon another rabbit or sheep, so he had no fighting capacity at all. The other one was very strong, but he did not have the courage to fight. If he wanted to win the hunting contest, he could only rely on himself in the end. The three of them moved forward quickly as they talked. In the blink of an eye, the reserved 10 minutes had passed, and the old students on the other side of the canyon had officially begun to enter. Suddenly, Qin Haodong's expression changed and he shouted, someone is coming. Let's hide. Chapter 898. Although they were both at the middle stage of the void training realm, Qin Haodong's spirit was much more sensitive than Zhao Xingyue's and the little witch's. He had already sensed that someone was approaching. He immediately took the two of them through the trees and finally chose a big tree with dense branches and leaves to hide. Not long after they hid, 3 figures dashed over and stopped not far from the tree. What's going on? I clearly sensed that someone was here. Why did he suddenly disappear? It was Xue Pan who spoke with a murderous look. He Kaishan was next to him and Hao Wei, a senior student at the early stage of the void training realm. The three of them carefully looked around but still couldn't find anyone. Hao Wei said, Brother Xue, did you make a mistake? Xue Pan said doubtfully, it can't be. I clearly sensed that someone was here. Why did he suddenly disappear? He Kaishan said, Brother Xue, don't worry. The competition has just begun. That Qin guy can't escape from us. Xue Pan nodded and said, let's go ahead and have a look. We must find him. Then, the three of them rushed forward again. 3 idiots. The little witch was about to jump down from the tree with a smile, but Qin Haodong stopped her and motioned for her not to speak. Although she didn't understand why Qin Haodong was doing this, there was nothing to be afraid of since he had already left. However, out of trust in Qin Haodong, she closed her mouth and squatted on the branch and looked down. A few minutes later, the three of them appeared under the tree again. He Kaishan said, Brother Xue, it seems that you're really overthinking. There's really no one here. Xue Pan said doubtfully, it seems that I really sensed wrong. After the three of them left again, Qin Haodong took the little witch and Zhao Xingyue and jumped down from the tree. The little witch said, Xue Pan is a cunning bastard. Zhao Xingyue said, Brother Qin, why don't we hide in the tree? They can't find us anyway. Qin Haodong said speechlessly, have you forgotten the rules of the academy? If we can't reach the exit of the canyon within 24 hours, we will be judged to have lost and we will have to hand over all the spirit stones. The little witch said, Sister Xingyue, I really don't know what you're afraid of. If Brother Qin hadn't asked me to hide, would have summoned the silver-clawed octopus and eaten them all. Qin Haodong suddenly, a thought flashed through his mind. Although he had obtained 20,000 spirit stones as a reward, this was for the three of them. It would not be good for him to keep it all to himself. In this way, there was still a gap between his goal of 100,000 spirit stones. He had to find a way to earn more money. He asked, Hong Ying, according to the rules of the academy tournament, can we also steal top-quality spirit stones from older students? Of course. Luo Hongying said, what is a big hunting contest? Everyone else was your prey. As long as you had the ability, you could snatch the spirit stones away. However, generally speaking, the strength of a new student was much weaker than that of a veteran student. It was already a miracle that they did not get robbed. Very few people dared to have any ideas about a veteran student. In the past, when I participated in this kind of competition, it was always an individual unit, so no one dared to rob me, but I did rob a lot of top-quality spirit stones, otherwise, would not be ranked second in the whole school. Qin Haodong said, in this case, we can't go back empty-handed this time. We must rob more. The little witch cried excitedly, okay, that's the most exciting way. I don't want any money I get. I'll give it all to you. She had always been fearless and did not care much about money. What she cared about was the process of robbing. Zhao Xingyue said nervously, Brother Qin, I don't need my money, but can we not rob? Let's get out of here quickly. Qin Haodong said, Xingyue, remember, no matter where you go, the law of the jungle is the law of nature. If you dare not rob others, then others will rob you. Zhao Xingyue nodded and said, well, I'll listen to you. After the three reached an agreement, they hurried forward together to find their first target. In the dense forest, 3 old students wearing black school uniforms sped over. A tall and thin student said, Boss, we don't seem to be very lucky this time. We haven't even found a new student yet. Another student followed and said, Yes, for this big hunting match, we invested a lot of money to buy pills. It was not easy to improve our cultivation. If we can't find new students and rob money, we will lose money. The student in the middle who was called the boss was called Li Yunhe. A month ago, he was still at the early stage of the void refining realm, but in order to get more spirit stones in this big hunting match, he bought a void breaking pill with a lot of money and promoted his cultivation to the middle stage of the void refining realm. Don't worry, it's only been an hour. As long as we can find new students, then all their money will be ours. The tall and thin student said, Boss is right. Now you are at the middle stage of the void refining realm, and we are both at the early stage of the void refining realm. Although those new students look very good in the arena, they are still rookies compared to us. Of course, with our current cultivation, no one is our opponent except Murong Jinghong and the others, let alone those new students. Li Yunhe smiled proudly and said, We have to hurry, or we won't get much money if others get ahead of us. According to the rules of the academy, they could only take half of the other party's spirit stones each time. The earlier they robbed, the more they would get. After that, the 3 of them rushed forward, constantly looking for traces of new students. 10 minutes later, the tall and thin student shouted, Boss, look, there are people in front. Li Yunhe looked in the direction of his finger and saw 3 people sitting on the grass in the forest, eating snacks and drinking beer. It seemed that they were not here to participate in the competition, but more like they were here for an outing. The tall and thin student shouted, Boss, it's the little witch and Qin Haodong. Should we take action? Li Yunhe said excitedly, Of course, they are fat sheep. They have 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. As long as we rob half of them, we will get 10,000. It's much more cost-effective than robbing other new students. The tall and thin student said hesitantly, But boss, the little witch is so powerful. Are you sure we can succeed? Li Yunhe said, The little witch's summoning is famous for being unreliable. She has successfully summoned powerful magical beasts twice in a row. This time, she definitely won't be so lucky. This is a chance given to us by God. Hurry up and do it. As the saying goes, fortune comes from danger. The other 2 companions also suppressed their fear and rushed over with a shout. The 3 of them surrounded Qin Haodong and the others. Li Yunhe took 2 steps forward and shouted to the little witch and Qin Haodong, "Boy, hand over the money if you know what's good for you. When we start, you will suffer." Qin Haodong pinched a spiced peanut and threw it into his mouth. He smiled at the little witch and said, "I didn't expect a fish to take the bait so soon." The little witch said excitedly, "Little brother, that's a good idea. Let's hurry up and grab the money." "You're right. We have to hurry up." Qin Haodong stood up and said to Li Yunhe and the other 2, "Hurry up and hand over the money, or you will suffer when I start." The tall and thin student was stunned at first, then he said to Li Yunhe, "Brother, he stole our lines." Li Yunhe's face darkened. "Boy, don't think that you are great just because you are the freshman champion. You new students are not at the same level as us old students. Hurry up and hand over the money, or I won't be polite." Qin Haodong smiled slightly. "Since you're not convinced, then hurry up and don't waste time. Boy, go to hell." Li Yunhe glanced at the little witch and saw that she did not take out the crystal ball to use the summoning skill. He immediately took the initiative and punched at Qin Haodong's chest. This was the first time he had used all his strength since he reached the middle stage of the void training realm. The punch was heavy and powerful. The powerful momentum rolled up the leaves on the ground and flew all over the sky. In his opinion, Qin Haodong was at most at the early stage of the void training realm. He could not resist his full blow at all. But before his fist could touch Qin Haodong's chest, a palm suddenly slapped down from the sky and sent him flying. There was no one watching, so Qin Haodong no longer hid his strength. He dealt with his opponent as fast as he could. Li Yunhe was hit so hard that he was confused. He originally thought that with his cultivation, he could definitely crush Qin Haodong. He did not expect that he would be swatted away like a fly. He did not have the slightest resistance against Qin Haodong. "Great, little brother is so great." The little witch clapped her hands and shouted happily. "What's going on? Could it be that he is not the weakest?" Li Yunhe crawled up from the ground and felt the powerful aura coming from Qin Haodong's body. He immediately understood that this young man had been hiding his strength during the freshman competition. Among the 3 people in the team, he was the strongest. Qin Haodong took 2 steps forward and looked at him with a smile. "If you know what's good for you, hurry up and hand over the money. Otherwise, you will be robbed by others." Li Yunhe was depressed to death. He was a senior student, and he was here to rob money, okay? This guy actually wanted to rob his money. Was there any law? Seeing his unwilling expression, Qin Haodong shook his head. "It seems that I have to do it myself." He walked towards Li Yunhe again. Li Yunhe glanced at his 2 companions and shouted, "Let's do it together." The 3 of them were good friends and cooperated very well. After shouting, they rushed towards Qin Haodong together. Pa! 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 After 3 consecutive crisp sounds, Li Yunhe was slapped to the ground again. But this time, there were 2 more companions beside him. Now they realized the strength of the other party. Li Yunhe crawled up from the ground and shouted, "Qin Haodong, let's go our separate ways and not make things difficult for each other, okay?" The little witch stepped forward and said, "I say, don't you have any shame? You want to make things difficult for little brother, but do you have the ability? Hurry up and hand over the money, or I won't be polite anymore." Li Yunhe and the other 2 looked at each other. They originally came to rob money, but they didn't expect to become the target of robbery. "Run!" Li Yunhe roared, and the 3 of them ran in 3 different directions. He had already thought it through. Since he couldn't rob the other party's spirit stones, it was good to keep his. But it turned out that their dream was too beautiful. After running a few steps, they felt their knees go soft and fell to the ground with a plop. The little witch stepped forward and stepped on Li Yunhe's right hand. She reached out and grabbed his storage ring. With a thought, she took out 2,000 top-grade spirit stones. Chapter 899. Why is it so little? The little she-devil said with dissatisfaction. Li Yunhe felt like he was about to collapse. How could this girl think that it was too little? This is my own money. We haven't gotten anything since we entered the nightmare forest. What a waste. The little she-devil put away the 1,000 top-grade spirit stones and kicked his butt hard. Then, she threw the storage ring back. At this time, Qin Haodong had also grabbed the storage rings of the other two students and took out half of their spirit stones. However, these people did not have as much money as Li Yunhe, so they only had 1,600 top-grade spirit stones in total. Get out of here. Don't let us see you again, paupers. The little she-devil turned around and handed the money to Qin Haodong excitedly. Little brother, it feels so good to rob. This little girl did not care about money, but she enjoyed the process of robbing. Qin Haodong put away the spirit stones and said with a smile, let's hurry and find the next one. There are still many spirit stones waiting for us. Yun Xiang walked forward carefully with his two companions. He knew very well that he could not fight against the senior students with his strength. He could only hope that he would not be discovered. It turned out that this idea of his was an extravagant hope. These senior students had participated in the hunting competition many times and had rich experience in finding the traces of new students. As soon as they came out of a dense thicket, they saw 3 senior students in black standing in front of them. The leading senior student said, "We have been watching you for a long time. Hurry up and hand over the money." Yun Xiang sighed. 2 of the 3 had the aura of the Void Training Realm. Even if they were only at the early stage of the Void Training Realm, they were not people that he could deal with. In order to avoid getting hurt, he discussed with his companions and had no choice but to take out half of his spirit stones and give it to them. The senior student took the money and glanced at Yun Xiang and the other 2 in disdain. How can you new students who haven't even grown out their hair fight against us? You are just here to give us money. Hurry up and scram. If we see you again, we will rob you again. You are too much. If you want to rob, then rob. Why do you have to insult us? One of Yun Xiang's companions shouted angrily. The old student chuckled and said arrogantly, "Kid, you're not convinced, are you? I've already robbed 3 batches of new students like you. What can you do? In our Black Tortoise Institute, if you don't have the strength, you can't even fart." Another veteran student shouted, "That's right. If you have the ability, why don't you come and rob us too?" With that, he patted the storage ring on his hand. To tell you the truth, I have 5 or 6,000 top-grade spirit stones here. You can't take them away. After saying that, the 3 old students burst into laughter. Their strength was not considered outstanding among the many old students participating in the hunt, but they had a student who was extremely good at tracking. Therefore, not long after they entered the Grand Canyon, they had already robbed 4 groups of new students and obtained a large number of spirit stones. Yun Xiang sighed and hurriedly pulled back his partner who was about to go berserk. He had already given the money to the other party, and it was not wise to get himself injured at this time. He was right. He didn't have that kind of strength, so he could only endure it. But at this moment, a cold voice sounded from the side, "You're right. Strength is everything. Without strength, no matter how many spirit stones you snatch, you won't be able to protect them." As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Haodong appeared in front of the 6 people with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. "It's you?" The eyes of the leading old student lit up. He knew very well how much money Qin Haodong had. It was a total of 20,000 top-grade spirit stones. He cried excitedly, "Boy, hand over the money quickly." Qin Haodong glanced at the 3 people and said, "Hurry up and take out your money, and then get out of here. A new student dares to talk to me like this. Now I'll show you the gap between a new student and an old student." The 3 people cooperated very tacitly. After a loud roar, they rushed at Qin Haodong together. According to their idea, as long as they controlled Qin Haodong first, they would not be afraid of the little witch's summoning skill. The strategy was right, but unfortunately, they did not have the strength. As soon as they rushed forward, they were all kicked to the ground by Qin Haodong. The little witch now cooperated with him very tacitly. She did not intend to use the summoning skill at all. Instead, she directly stepped on the three people and grabbed their storage rings one by one. I've already said that with your strength, it's useless to rob the spirit stones. They were all prepared for us. The three people were so angry that they could only stare, but they also saw the gap between them and Qin Haodong. Just now, Qin Haodong's kick directly sealed all the acupoints of their body. Now they could not use any strength at all. Even if they wanted to resist, they were powerless. The little witch happily robbed the three people. Unexpectedly, she robbed 10,000 top-grade spirit stones at one time. She took half of them, and there were still 5,000 left. Seeing the little witch take away the spirit stones, they could do nothing. In an instant, the three people experienced the helplessness of Yunxiang and others just now. After the little witch robbed them, she threw the three storage rings back to them. The three people picked up the rings and were about to leave. Qin Haodong shouted, "Wait a minute." The black-clothed student turned back and said angrily, "According to the rules of the college, you have robbed them. What else do you want?" "Don't worry, we will abide by the rules of the college." Qin Haodong turned back to Yunxiang and others and said, "We can't rob them anymore, but you still have a chance." Yunxiang was stunned at first, and then he understood. Now that the three people's cultivation had been suppressed, it would be a waste not to rob them. The student shouted angrily, "You can't do this. It's against the rules of the college to rob spirit stones together." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Senior, you're wrong. We didn't join hands. I just reminded them. Let's go now." After that, he left with the little witch and the other two people to find the next target. There was an angry roar behind them. Although the three old students were shouting loudly, they had no ability to resist. Soon, they were robbed again by Yunxiang and his two companions. Not only did they get back all the spirit stones they had just lost, but they also gained a lot. All of this was Qin Haodong's intention. After all, they had always called him brother-in-law, so he had to give them some benefits. Next, they continued their robbery plan, but they did not attack the new students. They only targeted the old students who came to participate in the hunting contest. With his powerful spirit perception and 500 years of rich experience, Qin Haodong attacked the old students again and again with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. In less than half a day, they had robbed 6 out of 10 groups of old students. The strongest among them was at the middle stage of the void training realm, so they posed no threat to Qin Haodong. The little witch did not need to use her summoning skills at all. He could handle them all by himself. For a moment, the old students who came to participate in the hunting contest were on tenterhooks. They were scared that they would accidentally encounter the 3 demon groups again. Moreover, the 3 of them would not only rob once, but every time they attacked, their cultivation would be sealed, and then the new students would rob them. After so many years of the hunting contest, this was the first time that there had been a dramatic twist. The old students who were originally playing the role of hunters were about to cry when they were robbed by the new students. The nightmare Grand Canyon had become their nightmare. Fang Qiong, and Yun Shanshan had been searching for Qin Haodong since they entered the canyon. Of course, they did not want to rob him, but to protect him. Although the rules of the academy forbade 2 groups of students from joining forces, they could rob them as soon as they appeared. That was what they thought, but they did not see Qin Haodong for a long time. Instead, they met a few old students who had been robbed. After asking around, they found out that these people had been robbed by Qin Haodong instead. Hearing this news, Fang Qiong said excitedly, "Senior brother, you are really amazing. Although you were not robbed, you robbed so many old students." Yun Shanshan said, "Dr. Qin is really unpredictable. It seems that he does not need our help at all." Chang Kai was in the same group as them. He asked worriedly, "Seniors, they've already snatched 6 out of 10 groups of veteran students. Will they make a move on us?" Yun Xianxian smiled and said, I don't think so. Even if they rob us, they will rob us of our bodies, not our wealth. Senior sister, you are not scaring me, are you? Yun Xianxian originally wanted to joke with Feng Qiong, but she did not expect to scare Chang Kai. Recently, the rumor that Qin Haodong liked men had spread throughout the academy. Even Chang Kai had heard about it. Now that he heard that Qin Haodong was going to rob them, and he was the only man in his group, the result was self-evident. Yun Xianxian and Chang Kai were stunned at first, then they burst into laughter. Even Feng Qiong, who had always been cold, could not help laughing. Seeing that Chang Kai was getting more and more nervous, Feng Qiong said, Don't worry, my senior brother is not that kind of person. In the middle of the forest, Xuepan and He Kaishan's faces became more and more gloomy. Ever since they entered the canyon, they had tried their best to find Qin Haodong, but they had not found him. Moreover, all the students they had been robbed by Qin Haodong, so they did not get too many spirit stones. Xuepan said angrily, Damn it, I really don't know where he is hiding. He Kaishan said, Brother Xue, don't worry. Don't you see the pattern? This kid is robbing us old students one by one. Now 6 of the 10 groups have been robbed, and they will probably find us soon. It will not be too late for us to deal with him then. Xuepan said with a murderous look, If this kid comes to us, I will make him suffer. In another group of 3, Jiang Qingzhou said with a serious look, I didn't expect that there would be such a heaven-defying student in the freshman competition. He actually turned the tables and robbed us old students. According to the order of their actions, it will be our group's turn soon. Next to him, Song Junyu said proudly, What are you afraid of? The more spirit stones they rob, the better. In the end, they will all be ours. She had the confidence to say this. After a year of hard work, her cultivation had improved from the early stage of void training to the middle stage, and she had also become a 6th-grade summoner. Compared with the unreliable little witch, she was a very normal summoner. After reaching the 6th grade, she could always summon 6th-grade magical beasts. In their group, she and Jiang Qingzhou were powerhouses at the middle stage of void training. Coupled with an early-stage void training assistant, their strength was extremely strong. If they could summon a few 6th-grade magical beasts to help, their strength would almost be comparable to Murong Jinghong in Xiao Yulong's group. Naturally, they would not be afraid of a freshman like Qin Haodong. Really? I don't think so. Your spirit stones are mine, but mine is still mine. As soon as his voice fell, Qin Haodong appeared in front of the 3 people with the little witch and Zhao Xingyue. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.